Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
The Carolina Panthers may have gotten a steal in Deontay Johnson. He's a stud. I told you I was excited about this fella. On top of that, he's developing a great connection with Bryce Young. We'll hear about that. We'll hear about, let me say this. Don't hate the player. Hate the game. The C3 Podcast is here, rocking and rolling. Longest running Panthers podcast, 11 years, doing it strong. And we have returned. We returned from training camp. We stayed in the same hotel as all the Carolina Panthers. We went to training camp 3 days. CK kind of went 4. CK has caught the world on fire in his own way, in his own infamous way. The most
Lee the Fifth.
Yeah, he's the most calm, even keeled out of the whole group, and he's the one that's created the stir, the buzz. But we're back, and even though we had a lot of fun and got a lot of insight into the Carolina Panthers and training camp itself, the most important part was seeing my brothers who are on this panel. Greg, wish you could have been there. I know can't work for everybody, but you're one of our brothers. Don't forget that. But I got to get back with my brothers, but just as importantly, we got to connect with so many Panther fans, and it's really incredible to see how much people feel a part of the C3 Panthers podcast. So we're here live every Tuesday night, chopping up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. And I do it each and every week with my homeboy, my wheelman, Cody Lashney. It was great seeing in person, but I'll settle for that beautiful mug in this digital world too.
Oh, dude, happy to be here with you, brother. As you all already know, there's nowhere I'd rather be on a Tuesday night than right here with my boys, chopping it up about the Carolina Panthers. And dude, it was absolutely incredible seeing the members of the C3 Legion this past training camp week, man. It has been absolutely incredible. C3 is always the talk of the town when it comes to Panther football, baby. We appreciate you all for having us and for being with us on your Tuesday night. And I know damn well we have the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. You already know him and love him, Tony Dunn. We got our boy Tin Tizzy in the building, Brandon Malone, Kobe Griffin, the brand ambassador Diesel Skills, the real AP Tim Estes, Tim Stellings, your boy White Chocolate Espresso, and the girl Burby. Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
You know the deal. The number's 252-228-5098. We want to get your input on the latest Panthers news and opinions from Xavier Legette's awesome accent has become a talk of itself in good and bad ways. From your thoughts about the early openings of training camp, and we just want to hear those beautiful voices and be part of the C3 family. You also know what to do. You dance around on that thumbs up button. You smash that thumbs up button. You hit the subscribe. You hit the like. You hit the share. All those things help us reach new people and build this community. CK, great hanging out with you again. I feel like I'm just going to continue to thank you. You made a lot of this or all of it possible in so many ways. Thanks for the tickets. Thanks for getting us. I'm eating my breakfast. I'm eating that egg white frittata, and Bryce Young walks by. I'm running over there, taking a picture as he's walking out the door. And CK and I went and played. We had a blast, not only with football and stuff like that. I hate golf. We went to Top Golf. It's like beer and it's like bowling, but with golf clubs where you just like get out there and smack it and have fun. And that was a great time. And we even went and saw Deadpool Wolverine in 4DX. Incredible. First time I ever did that. CK, I had a blast. Thank you. Good to hang out with you again.
And Creed. Don't forget about Creed.
Oh, Creed. The greatest. The
Come
greatest.
on, dude.
Yeah, the greatest.
I'm here with arms wide open.
Be careful. We're going to get DMCA'd.
Oh,
so,
I don't sound that good.
man, it was a eventful
Bump your
weekend,
mic up
man.
a little bit after you get done too.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You can't hear me very well.
It's a little low on my end.
Okay. No, I was just stating that this has certainly been an eventful weekend, to say the least. It's been one of those moments so I'm not going to talk about the drone stuff right this second. We're going to go into that, but I want to tell you how weird all of this is that it kind of worked out the way that it did. I bought these tickets for Three Doors Down, Creed, all that, and Finger 11 6 months ago before we even knew the training camp dates. And they announced the dates, and I found out the first day of practice is actually the day that concert's here.
Couldn't have worked out better.
Worked out incredible. And then we booked the hotel that's closest to the stadium. Honestly, we didn't expect that there was going to be players in that hotel, so we ended up getting the benefit of having the same hotel as all the players that are 5 years or under in the league. It was just a wild ride. And then the way that it ended, which we'll talk about here in a minute, it all was just kind of like the cherry on top. We're never getting media passes, I'll tell you that much. But
I think we might have ended that.
Yeah, but hey, listen, we're infamous, and that's all that matters.
Well, it was a great time. And
as long as we've got the C3 Legion, dude, I don't need them. We don't need them, baby. We are building the best. We are building the best Panther community that there is, man. C3 Panthers Podcast. Love y'all, boys.
We'll
man.
try again in the future. We'll let our work speak for itself.
Y'all should have doing the drone work in the players' rooms. Just kidding.
I'll tell you one thing. Somebody asked if I was taking pictures of these people in secret. I was not most of the time.
Unless it's Eddie Pinheiro.
Greg, Eddie Pinheiro's haircut does not look any better in person. I don't leave me off the list of who his barber is. What's up, Greg, man? Glad to have you back on the show.
Thanks, man. I think the only bad part about going to training camp last year was it kind of spoiled me, and now I didn't get to go this year, so it definitely was hurting. But I did miss you guys, and I appreciate all the information you guys sent me while you were there too, pictures and everything else. I hope everybody had a good time. I'm interested to talk about training camp because not being there, I don't get the same perspective y'all do, and I feel like a broken record being played, kind of with some of the things I've been hearing out of training camp, but it's an every year thing. It's like coach speak. It's what everybody says, but I'm ready to talk about the Carolina Panthers. We are so close to football. I'm excited. I got to start checking out my fantasy team. Tony, you still got to make that trade with me, man. I'm waiting for you. It's there. It's offered.
You know what I also got to do? I got to
come on, man.
Pay. I got to open the app. That's what I'm going to do.
Open the app and just hit accept. Yeah.
All right. I'll get on that at some point. Don't worry. I'll be there. I'm present as the season gets closer. We still got a little time. In fact, I guess next week we're going to have the Hall of Fame game coming up. So let's get into tonight's show. Panthers face fights, drones, and as Reddit moans. Cody Lack, get us into this damn show.
Yes, sir, man. Listen, the Carolina Panthers today had their very first padded practice of the season. This is what we have been waiting for. And let's just say that there was some action earlier today, man. There was some fights. There was like a big hit between Jadeveon Clowney and Chuba Hubbard. Things got to be a little bit heated at one point in practice. Dave Canales would eventually come out and says that he likes that. He likes that energy right now that the Panthers are showing. But one of the main things is that Bryce Young is indeed looking good. He's looking like that prospect that we started to draft a year ago, dropping balls in the bucket to Deontay Johnson, spreading the ball around. He has really started to look good and started to come on during this training camp. He has a number of different weapons available to him, too, in forms of Deontay Johnson and Xavier Legette. We're even going to talk about who is Bryce's best connection through training camp so far. But how are you boys feeling that Bryce is starting to, even in some way, shape, or form, starting to show some of those flashes that we've been waiting for a long time now?
Well, I'll start with this is and someone who's tried to not be too high or too low on any of these things, despite what people some of the people that don't listen to the podcast believe of us that we're one note, one voice, which is not true. We all argue with each other all the time.
Furthest thing from the
is like right now, just like what we saw last year and this year, I just want to see it on the field. And I'm not saying that in a negative way.
Right.
Well, I'm not even saying in a pot, like these things all look great right now. But none of it will matter if the Carolina Panthers don't play with continuity as a team, don't improve from week to week, and do those different things. Now, I have cautioned everybody to say this, or I think one of the reasons, actually, I'll put it this way, is I think one of the reasons that the Dan Morgan hire, while we can find bad reasons and good reasons and things like this, we debated that ad nauseum for weeks and months, it felt like, is that you do have somebody in that general manager position who was there when the draft pick was made. And so, look, is like sometimes it's hard when you're going through adversity. Sometimes it's hard when you're going through struggles or whatever it is in life to look back at the original genesis of something. And regardless if people want to argue it's the right pick, it's not the right pick, it's the pick. The Panthers made that pick for some set of reasons, right? And it's good to know that somebody that can go back to that original moment and say, look, despite these troubles, this is where we thought, this is why we thought this, and to maintain that belief. And so, yeah, I'm hoping that this is a sign of good things to come. I also don't want to put over expectations on Bryce. And this is what we needed Bryce Young to do. It's a very important season for Bryce. And that is to go out and to play in a way that from week to week to week encourages belief by the organization, most importantly. Right. And then secondly, the fan base and the future of him as the Carolina Panthers quarterback. So yeah, how about this is if we were saying other things right now, that wouldn't be moving in the right direction. So yeah, right. I'm happy to hear these things. I'm not going to go over crazy and ballistic about it,
right?
But I'm also is like you can trudge forward, and this sounds like some evidence that we're trudging in the positive direction rather than getting evidence that says it's not going that way.
So real optimism in the chat before we go to CK. Panther Gal is saying, crossing the fingers for 6 wins. Jerry says the Panthers are getting 10 wins. Save this. Talk your shit, Jerry. We like that. Go ahead, CK.
Man, I have to acknowledge a few things. I mean, even I had the eyes in the skies for that training camp practice yesterday.
Quite literally.
And I'm going to be honest with you. Bryce was throwing some really good balls. Like,
yeah.
And you know, for my eyes only, maybe the guys here on the panel, like the placement was really good. And then you look at the videos coming out today, the dude was throwing some dimes. And here's the thing that's different than what I saw last year is last year there were a lot of plays that felt like we're dead immediately, but we continued to play through it because like how many times we saw Derek Brown in the backfield, like how many times like it would have been a dead play. It would have been gone. I don't see a lot of that. There's still some that happens, but not as much as it was happening in training camp last year in the limited amount of time we were able to see it then. Bryce Young has looked sharp, but again, much to Tony's point, I am not of the mind where I'm ready to crown this as saying like he's going to make this massive turnaround because we saw a lot of big plays, you know, to DJ Chark. We thought that was going to work out too, and it just didn't coalesce in the season. You've got to keep in mind, we're playing a defense that isn't considered a top tier defense right now because of the holes that we have. So even when you think about the positives that he's putting out on the field, he may be getting the ball where they're supposed to be, but is he really playing to the level of an NFL team that he's going to be facing throughout the year?
Let me just say one thing to add on to that is I'm encouraging people to be optimistic. I want people to be positive about the future. I want people to be positive about Bryce, but in so many ways is that when we judge a player by other players or expectations that we set prematurely, we created some disappointment for ourselves last year, right? Is that, you know, oh, you got this, it's a no brainer. And then look, it turned out to be an incredible disadvantage, debacle. It was awful. But what I think I'm saying is that by having tempered expectations, not poor expectations, not having no expectations, but saying this is let's go play by play, week by week, game by game, and let's get Bryce cooking is a way that doesn't set a bar is unachievable. We don't want to put somebody in an impossible situation and then criticize them for failing. Right. And so let's go with that. Greg, your thoughts on Bryce Young's in this subject?
Well, just from the videos that I've seen, I didn't get to see it up close like y'all did, but the stuff I've seen, obviously they're going to show highlights and everything looking good. And he has looked good. He's thrown some really good balls. I've also seen some balls thrown that everybody's talking about are great balls that would be interceptions 9 times out of 10 in a real game. I'm with you with the tempered expectations. Y'all know I'm kind of the wet blanket of this whole thing, but I hear these same things we heard last year about the wide receivers looking great and Bryce's thing looking great. And we saw what happened. I just want people to remember the things they don't want to remember, that this is basically the underwear Olympics. We pick on people in the draft because they're not wearing pads. They don't have anybody pressuring them. That's the same thing in training camp. Not to mention, like CK said, we just said last week, we have probably the worst defensive backs in the NFL. Who's he really throwing against? And they're not going 100%. I don't care.
Well, right now, J.C. Horn is the best of the season because he's there.
Right, but what I'm saying is they're not playing 100%. I don't care if anybody says they're playing. They're not playing 100%. So looking good right now is great, and I'm really happy he does, because if you don't look good right now, that's a problem.
Right.
But I'm not going to bank him being fantastic this year or greatly improved based on training camp footage. I'm happy that he did well, but while you're telling everybody to temper their expectations about being so high, I'm kind of telling them to keep really somewhat lower to not be so disappointed. I would rather be wrong and surprised in a good way because I was wrong, he turns out good, than be really excited from what I saw from underwear training camp and him end up giving us 2 wins and 11 touchdowns.
I will go a little bit into further depth. The thing that I think is a bit different from last year is the decisions Bryce is making. They're all the right ones from what I can see. Mm-hmm. You know, there's the occasional, like there was one of my shots that I saw where he overthrew, and it was a rare occurrence where he was out of bounds. But for the most part, they've been on the money. Now the coverage might have been really good, you know, and it's been knocked away. But for the most part, it's been a really good throw. A lot of people are like, when they see the one that I had posted from Back Together Saturday where Leggett is actually in the end zone, and it looks like he gets manhandled when his foot just really got stepped on. And then the ball comes in like just a couple of seconds after. They're like, oh, that ball is about 4 seconds too late. The dude was running a route that was corner route. So they're already blaming Bryce for the fact that ball's like, it's nothing to do with that. That was a blatant pass interference. And Bryce actually read the route the right way. It was an anticipation route. And if you look at his anticipation throws, those timing throws where the wide receiver hasn't even made his break yet, and they're going to be making the cut and turning around, and the ball's there ready for them to catch. He has been on the money with pretty much every single throw, while also on the run. Even when you look at like the deep ball from that first day, we were talking about how it was overthrown. I don't think it was. I think it was actually probably a really good throw if, you know, in a real game, because it was out, like that safety had no shot at getting that. He was falling backwards to try to get to it. It was only going to be a ball that Leggett could get being placed there. Could it have gone farther right to the outside? Sure, I think that's a possibility. But that part, even just that little piece, even when he's missing his receivers, they're missing in a way that's like, that's a lot of times you could even put that as, you could see Leggett slowing up on one of them where, you know, there's a scramble drill and Bryce uncorks it. Leggett takes a step off, and then he realizes the ball's coming to him, and then he takes off, and he's about a foot away from the ball. Had he continued to run, that's in stride and a touchdown, not even a question about it. So I mean, it's just he's making a lot of plays that are, you know, not even on schedule plays. They're the ones that he's having to maneuver around the pocket and everything. I still have concerns with Icky. So we'll see if his play is going to limit Bryce's development this year. But as of right now, man, I'm optimistic about Bryce's ability. We've got to keep in mind this is a first-year head coach that's calling plays.
Mm-hmm. And
I do want to say this. I'll be very, very quick, Greg. Is that the type of, I feel like it's almost misplaced to call it pessimism when Greg talks about Bryce that way. Like, we all need to see Bryce prove it. We have said that multiple times, but I have the same energy for Ike Ekwonu. Like, I really, really, really have very serious doubts about his ability to be left tackle. And we're going to face some hellacious edge rushers this year. So I really hope that he just turned it on. I feel like all of us have a player that we are hypercritical on, and it's only because we demand so much from them. Like, we want them to be good players. We've been through such a drought, specifically at quarterback and left tackle. We want to hold these guys to the standard that Panther fans are used to back in our heyday.
And I do want to say this to maybe ease some people's minds. It is night and day difference between Bryce and the other two QBs. Yeah. Like, in the one training, like every practice I had, I saw Dalton throw at least 2 or 3 interceptions. Every single one of that I was there.
Yeah. And the rumors are right now that Dalton's hurt, I think.
Yeah. Now Plummer, Cody alluded to, he has a really, like, he's got a bit of a cannon. He's got some zip on his throw. He's about in my mind, he's about a 60% like accurate. Like, he's not throwing it where it needs to go. He can get the ball to a receiver on a line, but a lot of times it's, not where it should be. But he apparently had a really good 2-minute drill today, I think, from what I heard. So we'll see, what his development is. But I just want to make it clear, like, it is not even close in my mind from what I've seen last year to this year. Dalton seems to have taken a step back for whatever reason. Like,
he's older.
Overthrowing and
Dave Canales also said today, having another quarterback that has been on the roster, that has gotten in work with the team, instead of having to sign one in the middle of the season when you're pretty much scrambling to get a quarterback to come in and learn the book. I really do think that they're going to have 3 quarterbacks on this team at some point.
I hate how it's like you can either only praise or criticize someone, right? And it gets mixed up in this. Like, there are ways to have constructive criticism and things. And I guess to just clarify some of the things about tempered expectations, it's not about optimism for me. But when I went to graduate school, I was my mentor, my thesis advisor, who's like one of the top 5 most important people in my life, in my own development as a person and as an academic and all these different things. He was of the mindset is don't clap about something that you're supposed to do. Right. And so I remember this. It was my first semester, and I had never in school worked as hard as I could and gotten poor results, or the results I didn't want. Usually I didn't work as hard as I needed to and got decent. Like, I was questioning if I could make it in this. And now it's 4.0 or bust in graduate school if you're trying to go get your PhD and some different things. So it's like you're putting an immense amount of pressure. But he never gave out compliments. Like, if you got a compliment from this mug, you would hold on to it like a little baby that was just out of the NICU. Like, it meant
something. It meant something.
And I remember he gave me, like, it was like the first or one of the best. And he was like, this was really great research, great paper, and I was like, oh, and then I tried to milk it. Subconsciously, I tried to milk I was like, oh yeah, I worked so hard on this. I did. He's like, okay, you're supposed to work hard on it. So I guess that what I'm happy that Bryce Young is looking good.
Yeah. But you're also supposed to be looking good.
Or he's not supposed to be looking like Trey Lance is right now from what we're seeing in that. So that's where I hate how we have
or Caleb Williams. Apparently Caleb Williams for the Bears also has not been looking great up there for Chicago.
But don't tell the media that. They won't talk about that. Like, the media is only talking about how great he is and everything like that. It is wild, the contrast that is being kind of spouted about. When you look at the contrast from Bryce Young to Caleb Williams, it's like everything that happened with Bryce Young was like it was on blast on the media. And here Caleb Williams is throwing, from what I've heard, a tremendous amount of interceptions and OTAs to where they actually benched him, for somebody else. And then he's still in training camp, overthrowing people, everything like that. So it's this again. I just don't like the bias that you see when you talk about teams like Chicago and the Panthers. It's not a great look in my mind, and it makes you really not trust the media when it comes to that bias.
And by the way, we have a Bears fan who is a diehard C3 fan. Shout out to Leo. Says, Cody, what are you talking about? Caleb's been looking great. So again, man, we just find things that are on Twitter. We've seen a lot of clips of him underthrowing and misthrowing. Now, granted, mind you, a lot of those bad clips tend to be the ones that make the rounds. So maybe it isn't correct. I think the point that we were making, though, is that, when when Bryce is doing good things, no one's going to pat him on the back because it's not in a real game. And he was the number 1 overall pick. And when you're the number 1 overall pick, everyone is looking to tear you down before you even start.
Right. Well, I just want to point out, there's a fine line between pessimism and being realistic and things you're seeing. And some people sometimes think being realistic is being pessimistic. But I do believe Bryce Young will improve this year. I think he's a smart guy. I don't think he's a terrible quarterback. He was in a bad situation last year. But when you draft a guy number 1, he's supposed to be able to take a bad situation, make it a little better. That was my main disappointment with him. I want people to realize, though, that even if Bryce is better, and I think he will, because just speaking better means he's in a better place in his mind because his interviews are way better than last year. Playing better doesn't mean we have more wins or being better.
Right.
Think about it. We won 2 games last year in which Bryce threw 1 touchdown, and the opposing team had 7 points in one game and 15 points in the other, which are both below the league average. If we don't have say we don't have this year at all, where a team scores 9 and 15 points against us, we could go 0-17 and Bryce still have a better year than last year.
True.
So the degree of better is what I'm concerned about. I mean, are you going to throw 14 touchdowns instead of 11 touchdowns? Technically, that's better, but I mean,
he was
I need Zach Wilson better. I need him to step up like a number 1.
We need him just in a better situation, though, too, right?
Right, and he's in a better situation, I think. Yeah.
And I do feel like this bears repeating that the last time there was a fight at Panthers training camp that got chippy, your boys went to the bowl. I'm just saying, man.
That wasn't the last time.
So, I mean, I don't know. Hey, you know what? That's the story I'm running with, CK, and you can't tell me.
It would be a lot cooler if this fight was between Bryce Young and Bryce somehow was on his back.
Could you imagine how turned up Panther fans would be if Bryce was out there throwing elbows and shit? Hell yeah, man. But so this is the scuffle that took place. Jadeveon Clowney apparently lights up Chuba Hubbard on the play. Hit him at the shoulder. And then Icky's the one that's like, yo,
That's
shout out to Icky, man.
Got some dog left in him. You don't want to neuter a dog.
No, man, not at all.
Unless you ain't trying to have babies, but you still want to just be a dog.
Bro, then that testosterone, dog. You already know, man.
I hear you. Straight.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, again, not necessarily newsworthy, but Dave Canales said that this is a good sign. Said that this is a team that wants to win, and said that this is a sign of good things to come of a team that wants to fight for something. Do you agree with that assessment?
Yes. Yeah. This is a effing man's sport. There ain't no room for handshakes and as you are a team, you don't want to be a douche, right? But this is a sport that is based on physical violence. It's a violent. This requires dogs. This don't require no pussycats. Well, you want this. I want killers out there. I don't want no negotiators. I want a damn killer out there.
You don't want no damn Boy Scouts. Say that.
Well, this is the first padded practice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was
the
first time they were able to turn up like that.
Yeah, which means they're actually hitting. So of course tempers are going to flare a little more when that happens. I will say it does say something for people if they're more apt to fight when they're in pads. It's like the guy who will talk trash to you when he's in his car, but when he's out of it, he won't. Harder to fight whenever you're wearing underwear. I mean, so.
Yeah, but I mean, I love the mentality.
This is a sport that it's like it would be asking gladiators, like going like a Roman gladiator, shake hands first.
Yeah,
And you're right, Greg. The hitting, that's where it gets fit. You know what I'm saying? Is like, I bet you we could go and spar and we wear the headgear, we wear this, and we got these rules and we're going at 50%. But one time you get one pop in the jaw, boy, you're like, and if
you're ready to fight, you're ready to throw down.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I think I think it's a good thing that Icky is showing up in this way. Now, again, there's still some concerns with Icky. I don't think he's been as much of a liability from what we've seen in camp, but there have been moments where it's felt like he's still the weakest link on this offensive line, which shouldn't be the case being where he was drafted in his third year in the league. But there is, and that's funny also because of the fact that Austin Corbett is at center in a position that he isn't, usually playing. So I'm not saying that he isn't possible, that he hasn't ever played center. I think he made that clear that he actually used to play center. So it's not completely foreign to him. But the fact that it's not what he was playing in the pros at any position at any time in his career in the NFL, I think it's worth at least acknowledging that you would think he'd be the weakest link on this offensive line. And right now it does not look to be the case. Now, what is good news in my mind is in the reps that I see when the defense is going full blast, it doesn't seem like the offensive line is breaking down that much. And even when it is, it seems like Bryce is navigating that a lot better. This is also, take it with a grain of salt, because the fact that they can't actually hit Bryce. So really going full speed. It's hard to say. But no,
there's limitations. This is like there's a fight with rules. And my dad told me when I was in 8th grade, and I think I had gotten in a fight, and he said, son, the only rule in fighting is that there are no rules. Right. So this is a fight with rules. Oh, by the way, Cody, watch out with that Eagle Scout bullshit. He said, girl. Oh,
I know, man.
This. I'm an Eagle Scout and I played damn hard-nosed safety. Miss me with that. So you can be, you know what? How about this? Is we want a Boy Scout when you're off work. We want a hard-nosed safety dog when you at work if you're the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, man. Shout out to them scouts. Pardon me, man.
Thank you for the nature walk that you built for Gasta, wherever you live at. Thank you. The Eagle Scout projects. That's a big one for their community. All right. What do we got next?
So listen, I showed that clip earlier of Bryce Young and his connection to Deontay Johnson, and how this is really starting to be a nice hookup between Bryce and Deontay Johnson. And I have said that I think that he's just what the doctor ordered for this offense. Bryce Young at the podium today spoke a little bit about Deontay Johnson and how special he has been thus far.
We're trying to build and grow together. Deontay is something.
Sounds all the way up. Apologies if people can't hear it great.
We work super hard, super competitive. In the same way, it's always wanting to go out, always wanting to leave out and practice.
You're gonna have to transcribe this shit for us.
Yeah,
I can't hear it. Tell us what he says.
How bad he is, how hard he's running, how much he's wanting to finish plays. That's evident on training camp, early training camp practice. So, for me and for us, it's just, having those conversations, getting on the same page. And I think throughout this camp, we've gone over all the film. We talked about through a ton of routes and just making sure that we're on the same page and talking through things. I think it's started off really well. We've been able to grow some things, and then we're going to keep working.
So
I like Bryce's hair, by the way. It's looking cool this year.
Oh yeah, my man's he's looking straight. Also, I like the chin hair.
It feels like his traps are a little bit bigger. He looks like he's growing into the NFL a little more too.
Yeah, my man's been putting in some work, and kudos to him. But to transcribe a little bit of what he was saying is that Tony, when we were at Back Together Saturday, when Dave Canales addressed the stadium, he says one of the things I want you to look for is everybody being able to finish. To finish what they're doing. And that's one of the things that Bryce emphasized when talking about Deontay Johnson, that he's an aggressive route runner and he finishes his routes to the very end. And again, Bryce is a very soft-spoken type of guy, so I feel like sometimes you might have to read between the lines. But there was a lot of times last year where his wide receivers really, really, really did him no favors.
Yeah, they just gave
down the
up a
stretch.
little bit.
Yeah, at the top of their route. So
Mingo
I
talks
have
about
no-
that.
Oh,
yeah.
does he?
Yeah, I have no doubt in my mind that this is a real breath of fresh air for Deontay Johnson. I wanted to start with Deontay, but overall, I wanted to ask who has been everyone's favorite connection of Bryce this far through training camp. My answer is Deontay Johnson because, in my opinion, he has the type of skill set that can take this offense to the next level at receiver, like a Ted Ginn did in 2015, being able to take the top off of that defense.
I don't know. Deontay Johnson is nowhere as fast as Ted Ginn.
No, he's not as fast, but I think he's going to be the guy that's
gonna be
going to
more
make a lot of those.
I think,
it'll
I
be
think
more open.
Liggett is gonna be the deep threat.
But yeah, we have two options. We have two legit options over the top right now.
All right,
Okay.
I've asked this question over and over for the last few weeks before we got to training camp, and I took some flack from you guys, and we on the Friday free for all they came at me hard. And it was, do you have what player on this team do you love? Right? Do you have an emotional connection to, like we did for Cam or Luke or Star or K1? I mean, or K1 Short, or we could go to Josh Norman. People love, you know what I'm saying? I leaned over, I think it was to CK, maybe whoever we were sitting with, and I said, I think the person I love now is Deontay Johnson. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of scared to fall in love with someone who could only be a 1-year player. But tell you this,
Potentially.
I'm also falling in love with Xavier Liggett.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, how about this? And when was the last time I loved a damn receiver on this team? His name was Steve Smith. That's the only play. I can't think of. Oh no, you're wrong.
Oh,
So first, I'm gonna
Baby Bird, I love you.
I'm going to answer Cody's question because this question is more on point with what we were talking about here, which is which wide receiver are you? What was the exact question, Cody?
Yeah, what has been your favorite connection for Bryce through training camp thus far? Is it Deontay Johnson, Xavier Liggett, or Adam Thielen has had a couple nice balls? Terrace Marshall Jr.? There's been a couple of them.
My favorite so far, and this is layers because I'm going to talk about something before that happened before training camp and what we've seen. Mine has got to be Jonathan Mingo. Now, It's not that he has been blowing the doors off of anything, but the dude has stepped it up. And I said this before training camp. I said the best possible situation for the Carolina Panthers is for Jonathan Mingo to be good and for Liggett to be good. Because we have two people in the 1 and 2 like in the wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, in Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen that are like 1-year rentals, right? And so at the end of this year, if Deontay Johnson blows doors off of the thing and he ends up being this explosive player that we're hoping that he's going to be too expensive for us, especially with the holes that we have on the defense. We might be able to find a way to make it work. But right now, we don't see that cap space being a possibility where he's going to be on this team next year if he blows the door off the place. So the best case scenario is for Mingo and Liggett to show up and show out and be the play themselves into a potential wide receiver 1 slot in this offense. And the hope is that Liggett obviously does it. But if Mingo can quietly be that wide receiver 2, that's going to be the best case scenario for the Panthers for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, CK, and I want Liggett to be really good. Is it Liggett or Liggett? I don't know. I think he says it. He says it in his video. I can't remember.
Liggett.
Okay. I would love for him to be the next Steve Smith. I would love for him to be the next Panther wide receiver.
Mr. Muhammad, maybe for him.
Yeah. The problem is what we were just saying: Mingo, Liggett, Thielen, and Johnson. With those 4 guys, which I believe right now are all number 2 wide receivers. None of them are number 1 wide receivers. You're not going to get enough play time between any of them to have 2 of them break out. There's going to be a breakout receiver, but there's not going to be 2 because there's going to be too much competition for 2 receivers to break out.
I think one of these is going to be trade bait by the end of this, before the season starts, before the trade deadline.
Or Thielen takes a lower role, or maybe Liggett just is slower to be a big part of the offense than we expect. What I would just say about Jonathan Mingo that I'm real excited or happy to see, and it's about human beings. It's about men out there. is that, I think if you went back and checked the tape and checked the receipts on this podcast, is that I felt like people had already dismissed Mingo just after one tough rookie season completely. Like,
we pretty much did. Like, everybody was very, very rough on.
They were, and he didn't play well. But at the same time, is that somebody's life isn't summed up in a moment. Somebody's career isn't summed up in a season. And I mean, the same, if you're going to, we've said this on the show, if you're going to give that latitude to Bryce Young in a way, it would seem hypocritical to not do it. I just like this is what we think and talk about on this podcast. What you think and talk about on the internet has really no bearing on these people. It's what they think about themselves. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right. I believe Albert Einstein said. And I just like this is Mingo holding his head up, not quitting on himself.
Right.
Because guess what? It doesn't matter if we believe in him or not. He's got to believe in himself. And to see this is positive just for him as a human being.
Go ahead, CK.
I was going to say, I mean, one of the things that I wanted to talk about too, the first day of training camp, there was a rollout play where Bryce was scrambling. And Mingo with a very big, like a very high intelligence, again, in training camp, not full speed. He's not really worried about getting hit. He finds himself in a position where he's like, all right, I need to get open for him. And what I was doing isn't working. I'm going into a strong zone where there's 3 or 4 players that could get, I need to stop and make myself available for him while he's looking downfield. And so he does that. And so what he didn't do last year, and this is what he talks about in his interview, is he has to realize the play isn't dead when he thinks his route's done. Like a lot of times there's still opportunity for him to remain open, and he just has to do a bit of a scramble drill, if he will. And so he wasn't, like, if you look at some of the things, one of his biggest detractors last year was number one was his poor route running. His routes were absolutely horrendous. But it was also, it seemed like there was a lack of effort. If the ball wasn't coming to him, he wasn't really putting that effort into playing the game in the way that was necessary.
Rookie.
As a rookie. And so, Pickle has pointed out multiple times in the chat here, there's reports, at least by Steve Smith, that he and Mingo have actually been working out together this offseason a lot. And hopefully, there's some positive things that come from that. I'm not one of these people who think because somebody works out with somebody who's great that they're great, because that's just not how things work in this world. But if he can pick his brain and maybe improve even just a little bit at a time. I mean, this dude, he was drafted in the second round for a reason. It wasn't a reach to come out after him in the second round. He wasn't considered a bad pick at that time.
Yeah. By the way, this is Jonathan Mingo. If he heard detractors and what they were saying last season, and this was his response.
Do you hear the noise surrounding you? Like, did you hear the detractors and what they said last season?
Nah, I told you, like, my mama always tell me, like, don't care nobody else what guys say. So I don't listen. I block out all the outside noise. I'm just worried about me every day. So I don't care if it's bad news or good news. I don't even listen to it. Working on the things I know I need to work on, just getting better feel for the game, getting used to the speed and everything, getting adjusted to everything. So I feel more comfortable going into year 2.
It's too much. This is, and look, I'm a lover of the internet, right? I mean, the internet makes this podcast possible. The internet is a gift to the world in so many ways. But there's also negative things that come about it, and the instant gratification, these things like this, in some ways it's too much. It was just everybody expects everything to happen overnight. And so you could be a good prospect and you can improve. I get upset about this when we talk about the top quarterbacks. I don't want my quarterback's best season or any player you draft to be year 1. I mean, I want them to have a good season in year 1. I mean, that would ideally.
You don't want it to be a 1-year wonder that then disappears and we never hear from.
Or what if you got that player and they were the same player in 5 years? Wouldn't you be disappointed? Like, you want growth. We want growth, but guess what? The internet does that. It's that culture. We don't have time for that. We don't got time for that. So everybody wants from Bryce, right? We want growth from Bryce. We want growth from Mingo, and now we want growth from Icky.
Oh, absolutely, man. Listen, everybody wants a 5-star meal out the microwave. It don't happen that way, man. No. It's not how you do it, man. Thank you so much to Jerry for the 499 C3 bomb. Players become good based on their teams. Look at Love, Stroud, Mahomes, Burrow. Every quarterback is 100% dependent on their team's talent. Panthers overall going up 100%.
Love it.
I like that, man. Like all the success of these quarterbacks is very dependent on where they go. I do not think that Bryce was in a good position to thrive last year. I do think he is in one now. We've upgraded the O-line. We've upgraded the weapons. We have done some really good things to try and help Bryce in his development. I think we're on the right track, man. But never
How about
mind.
we take some cat calls?
Oh man, that sounds.
Do we want to do that?
Dude.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take a couple calls and then we'll get right into the meat of what everyone's here for. We got to bury the lead just a little bit.
Right.
But the number is 252-228-5098. Have your voice be heard on the longest running Panther podcast on the internet. Let's get it, baby.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
I looked up and saw a new intro. I didn't even pay attention. Sorry.
Yeah, man.
Can you hear this? Can you hear it?
Yep.
C3 family.
Thank God.
B, Sanford, North Carolina. To the great homie, to the great Tony Dunn. To the homie Cody Lack. To the drone pilot extraordinaire. BK. Fat Daddy. The whole family. C3 Cole, Diesel Skills, and Mr. Shut the Hell Up himself. Boy, we had a beautiful time. It's training camp, and not just training camp. We got pads on. We clacking pads. We hitting helmets. We fighting. I'm loving the physicality. I'm loving the dog behavior. I'm loving the dimes that Bryce Young is throwing. I'm loving Jadeveon Clowney putting people in the dirt, showing them that, hey, we were 2-15. You're going to have to toughen up in this son of a gun. I told you we were laying bricks, and right now it seems like we're laying some pretty good bricks. I know it's early, but the Panthers are doing the daggone thing. I've never seen Bryce throw passes like he's thrown. They ain't looked as pretty. I've even seen a little arm talent that a lot of the trackers was talking about. It looked like they're letting you know. I'm loving the fact that they got Bryce Young rolling out. I thought we'd see it last year. We didn't get it last year. We're getting it this year. I really think they're setting it up for us to have the best Bryce that we ever had. CK, I want to thank you for going the extra mile to get that footage. You was up there on the Pat McAfee. I was so proud, bruh. Shout out to you, Code Dizzle, just for the things you do. Kind of disappointing they made you take it down, but hey, I get it. Shout out to you. I give you all the flowers. Hey, shout out to everybody that came and saw my homies down there at C3 and went and saw the family. It meant the world to them. It meant the world to me to see the pod and just seeing it. It was a beautiful thing, people. But like back to it, we out there squabbling. We squabbling, and that's what I want, yo. So just remember, pound it. What up, there?
Keep pounding, D. Man, great call as always. I mean, listen, I think a lot of us have been very glowing about the moves that they have made to make this team better. We have a lot of questions, but one of the things, boys, that I said is like, I don't even really mind if we take a bit of a step back on defense, if it means that we get to see a bit of a step forward on offense. And I think that's something that I'm kind of expecting to see this year.
Well, we kind of have to. I mean, if we take a step back on defense, we've got to move forward on offense. Otherwise, we will be 0-17 because our defense wasn't great last year. So taking a step back on defense, the offense has got it. Defense won a few games. Defense won the 2 games we won last year.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, so
absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's the sacrifice. That's kind of the gamble that we're playing here. Is that we've we sacrificed the defense to try to bolster our offense. I mean, we look at the first 3 picks in the draft. It was wide receiver, running back, and tight end, right? I mean, that, and then you see, we trade Burns away, and we signed 2 guards for the same amount of money that we would have had to pay one person, and Brian Burns. So I mean, there's an all-in approach to this offense, and hoping that Ivero is able to do what he did last year, which is kind of put together a team that's still able to compete, even if they aren't considered a bunch of stars outside of Derek Brown and JC Horn. I think that it is possible this defense is still better just based off of having Ivero in there, because again, I think last year, I think it was fool's gold when people want to try to quote how good the defense was. But I also think it was better than it should have been because of Ivero being in there. And so that being the case, I think we have that potential outcome again this year. Because there isn't a surefire, there's a lot of people that could be competing for a position. I think there's still a potential for surprises, similar to a Luvu, right? When Luvu came into this defense, he wasn't the guy. Nobody was like, oh, I'm so glad we got Luvu on this team. Right, he was a guy that we signed as a guy who was going to bridge the gap because of Luke and all these guys that were going to be there. Yeah. He wasn't really meant to see a lot of playing time. The dude come out and he's showing out that he was a really great player on defense and a leader at that. I think we've got to keep in mind this defense may take a step back, but I think that we still will keep ourselves in it, and that's only if the offense is able to take the step forward that we're hoping that they are, because this is an all-in approach on that.
I don't know. Jadeveon Clowney thumping already.
Yeah, man. Hey, dude, he put the shoulder on him, bro.
Yeah.
So, look, how about this? Is when you're at the bottom of the pool, there's only one way up if you want to live. And that's to go up. And you know what? We were at the bottom of the pool. I know. Knock on wood, fingers crossed. We weren't at the absolute undefeated bottom, but we were at a morale bottom. We were at how about this? If we touch the bottom of the pool with our hand. Don't make me touch it with my face. Right. Don't make me touch it with my face. Don't forget, guys, the number's 252-228-5098. This is your show. We're just here to hang out with you. We want to hear your voice, your thoughts. Let's go to the next call.
Yo, what's up, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. Hope y'all boys are having a good Tuesday. Just wanted to call in, give my thoughts. Season's right around the corner, man. Today it's July 30th. I mean, we'll just call it August 1st. Basically, like a month in a week until the season starts. It gets very exciting as it gets closer, and whatever you think about the team, it's just football. Football is the biggest sports love for a lot of us, and I'm excited for the season. But before I go any further, I just wanted to say, shout out to you guys, man. CK, Tony, obviously, Cody. Y'all are so down to earth, man. It was so awesome to meet you guys, and get to know each other a little bit. Yeah, man. That was an awesome experience. And I was telling my friend, it's not just about the Panthers football. It's not just about us being fans. It's about networking and getting to know people and things like that to that nature. And you guys are just so down there.
Oh, did I cut him? Hold on. I didn't mean to do that.
Ready for the season. But before I go any further, I just wanted to say, shout out to you guys, man. CK, Tony, obviously, Cody. Y'all are so down to earth, man. It was so awesome to meet you guys, and get to know each other a little bit. Yeah, man. That was an awesome experience. And I was telling my friend, it's not just about the Panthers football. It's not just about us being fans. It's about networking and getting to know people and things like that to that nature. And you guys are just so down to earth and cool as hell. So I appreciate you being so open and generous to me, especially because I'm way younger than pretty much everyone that was there.
We appreciate you, man.
Yeah, it was cool talking to you guys. Awesome. But back to the point, really, I mean, I know we don't get hype about like preseason training camp, but like, I mean, Bryce Young looks pretty good from what like I've seen on these clips. I mean, I think his accuracy is improving a lot, and I think it really goes back to what Canales was saying when he first got the job. Is like, before anything, we're gonna teach Bryce how to fix his footwork and this and that. So like before he even picked up the football to throw, it just seemed like Dave Canales fixed the base of how he's going to throw the ball and things of that nature. So I think he's done a great job with them. And you hear the players talk about Canales, like Corbett, he says like he was throwing a shade in this one clip where he was saying, oh yeah, like Dave Canales, like he sticks to his word. Like if we're going to run the ball, we're going to run the ball. And he's like, well, some coaches, and like if they say they want to run the ball, then they end up throwing it 50 times. And I just know that he was taking a shot at Frank Reich right there. Especially just that, it makes me think of that Seattle game where he threw like the ball like 59 times. But I like some things. I like a lot of what I've seen so far, man. Like I know I don't have the highest win-loss prediction record for us, but that's okay. There's still going to be tons of positives that we can take away from the season. I think a lot of our young players are about to shine, and Canales is going to lead the way. Anthony from Charlotte.
Thanks, Anthony. He said this is down to earth. I tell you, look, you're looking at the three men to my right, my brothers. But I tell you this is that we got, or it might be left if you're looking at it. It's right on my screen. I've never, and I think the attitude of this show has never been about me. It's been about us hanging out. And when you meet people like that in life, look, he saw that it's authentic. He saw that, it's like, it's not a shtick. It's not anything like this. Now I do call this my new shtick, but it's like really something that's important to me is, I was messaging my friend Ash, more than friend Ash, I guess you'd say, is that I said, we're B-list celebrities up here. We're B-list celebrities out here. People are coming up and dapping. But you know what I say is that, what I ask for every single person? I said this, I want a picture with you. I want a picture with you. You don't ask for my picture. I want a picture with you. So look, this is what at least look, as soon as Anthony walked in, what I said, come get on these sticks. Come get on this mic. Right.
Yes,
and
sir.
even, I asked Strats, dude, I think first is a really guy. I love this guy. He's a really cool kid. Or not kid. He's a man. But like people feel authenticity. Authenticity wins.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell my students all this is like, whatever they say about young kids is no matter what, y'all smell bullshit. You can smell bullshit. And the fact that people say those things, that means authenticity.
Yeah, man.
And you know what I'll say? I mean, one of the things that's interesting about meeting all the people, the personalities, the people who are always in the chat, in the phone calls, it's interesting to see the different personalities too. Obviously Anthony was awesome. Strats was one of my favorite people we've seen this weekend or this past week.
Man.
Strats was
so skills, everybody.
We have a lot of really cool people, and they were appreciative of us, but they have no idea how appreciative we are of them. It makes you feel like
make you tear up almost.
It absolutely will. But to know that you're reaching people and connecting with people across the internet in a way that is impactful to them, but to us as well, is something that is moving. And people that we've never even seen in the chat, we've never heard on cat calls, coming up to us and talking to us like they know who we are. It's such a wild experience, and it's not, we love it. So don't ever be afraid to do that. We're going to continue to do this for you guys. Because, I mean, as Tony has alluded to, this is not like an endeavor that's of riches, if you will. So,
God, yeah, this is
we sacrifice our Tuesday nights with our families and everything because you're our family too. And we want to be here talking with our brothers here, but there's so many people that I feel like rely on having this venting session in a lot of ways, to be able to just cope with the team, especially as bad as it is right now.
Yeah, I mean, this got me through. Look, it's like I think that we weathered COVID a lot better than a lot of people. I was like, it's Tuesday night. I'm hanging out with my buddies.
Hey, this is
what
serious...
about Greg? How about this? Greg, what about when we first physically met? Right, it was like brothers, like coming together. Like it was like, like you felt like you knew somebody for Well, we have known each other for years, but like we didn't. In fact, last year at training camp was the first time ever, and actually probably the only time I think
we physically met.
That we've all been in the same fucking room together.
Mm-hmm. And it was like you were in a room with people you've grown up with. Like we didn't skip a beat from coming off this to being together. This is a serious culture. I speak more with people, fans, and you guys on this podcast than I do with people I grew up with and my parents, than people I work with. I talk to people for the fans of this podcast and y'all more than anybody else. And it's great, man. You guys have built a culture for me. I needed that. Like you said, this is not just all about it. Like this is, I don't want to say it's kind of emotional,
Panthers just happen to be the commonality.
Yeah.
The Panthers just happen to be the thing that we get together and we say, we're going to talk. It's like if you were playing like chess, if you're part and you were trying to really find a community to connect to. There's a reason D from Stanford, from Sanford. Man, I tell you that I would write him a letter of recommendation to Stanford. I tell you that I love this guy so much. He calls us family, bro. And he ain't playing.
No, he's not. And hey, that is our family, bro. C3 family is so strong. Dude, the amount of people that message us, dude, we have so many truck drivers that listen to the show that say, man, listen, I'm driving on the road for hours at a time. I love you guys. I can put y'all on. Dude, that guy that Trung, who gave me the hat at Trunk.
Yeah.
Well, hey, man, shout out to you, brother. The hat was incredible. Thank you so much for it. Listen, we're building something special. And no, pardon me, let me rephrase that. We have built something special.
Amen.
Here at the C3 Panthers Podcast, we endeavor to make a Panthers fan community that all of you can feel like you can be a part of. You might not love anything and everything that we say, but we promise that we're all good faith actors, and we're just here because we love talking Panther football, man.
And listen, I am perfectly fine with us being the Deadpool of Panthers podcast.
Yeah, baby.
Hey,
we have to talk about this, right? Is it time?
Don't spoil it for anybody. Oh, you're talking about that?
Is it time? Listen, your boys don't know how to stop making waves.
All right, it is time. Actually, let's hit this C3.
Yeah, absolutely.
Up real quick because I'm going to say one thing about it. Go ahead and read it off.
Man, so, hey, shout out to our boy Kev White Chocolate Espresso with the $5 C3 bomb. He says, my closest friend died in 2019 from cancer. We were big Carolina fans and constantly talked the ball. I didn't have that anymore until 2020 when I found this pod. Kev, we love you, brother, man. You're family.
I call him, in the most endearing way possible, my bastard son. And and it's like one of those jokes that both him and I think love. Right, when we met each other for the first time, we gave a hug to each other. That was like a son reunited. But to put a little context on that, rest in peace, Joe Riolano. My best friend was Joe Riolano, who this podcast started, and he moved. The whole genesis of this podcast was friends talking at halftime or talking on Sundays in a way that we use the Panthers to stay connected, because sometimes you can fall so distant. Right. And that's the common ground, but like it's not even the most important part. But you want to talk about, I don't know if we're the most loved. I don't know. We might be the most hated. Who knows? I don't think so, because of all the family we got. Family. We got family. Remember that? What was that LSU coach? Right. There's some waves that caught. There's a couple of things that have happened. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Let's start with this. let's go ahead and get to.
So they
did he? Oh, he doesn't know about it.
Did you not know this?
No. This is all news. I've been very busy
for those of y'all who don't know. My man CK Codizzle Allen at Codizzle Allen has been providing some of the best footage at all of training camp, right? Well, on Monday, your boy CK has literally the best, most powerful drone that you could ever imagine, dude. It's incredible. And we decided, wait, let me put it up on, that thing right there. Okay. My man Codizzle for Monday's training camp was basically providing the best possible top-down footage that you can ever see from Panthers training camp. CK, do you want to set this up a little bit before we bring Dave Canales and his response to the whole thing?
Yeah. Tony, you seriously didn't hear about this?
Not about the question. No, I didn't hear about the question of Drone Gate to Dave Canales, which I've got plenty to say to the Panthers on this.
Yeah. So Tony and I, obviously, and Cody, we went to the training camp for the first 3 days. And I had been getting really good video and everything. From what I could tell, I was pretty much the person that people were going to watch training camp highlights and things along those lines. And I, there was no, like last year at Spartanburg, there was a lot of signs and they were like, there is no video and there is no video and you cannot have your phone up if you are, like, it was very clear, and they were making a concerted effort to ensure that they're not going to have any type of, videoing of the practice or anything like that to the media as well. Right. And so this year they didn't have any of that signage up. So we were videoing and we were getting a lot of pops on those videos. And the next day we're videoing again. The security guards are seeing us video and they're not saying anything, which tells me that they're fine with videoing. Right. We go to back together Saturday. Everybody's got their phones out. There's no issue. There's no directive saying you can't video. There is nothing. And so my mind is, okay, well, clearly, we're early in camp. There's a few things. So a lot of people are looking at this as though, I should have known that this is something that they're going to, of course, I know that they're not going to enjoy the fact that this film is up, but I also know we're early enough in training camp where this isn't their offense. Right. This is a base level installment that they're going to have. And this isn't what they're going to be running on, that first week in the year. And so, my mind is I'm gone. That was the last day of training camp. I was going to be there. They're still not in pads. So it's, again, we're not dealing with the exact same situation. So I get up and I start flying the drone. I get a lot of really good footage, like, some really cool stuff. And I start posting it. But before I even have a chance to post it, the Panthers find me where I'm flying the drone. They actually had somebody come out. They had located me.
They knocked on your car?
No, well, I was outside. He walked up to me. It was Mr. Diggs. He was a very, very cool guy. He wasn't being mean about it or anything like that. He just walked up and he said, "Hey, I'm with player safety, and we know you have a drone up. Just want to I want to tell you can't be flying over top of the practice." I'm like, fully aware. I'm actually really far away from your practice. I'm not over top of anybody. I actually have my drone license, so you don't have to worry about me putting anybody in danger. I don't, I don't fly over anybody who doesn't know that the drone is there. And so he was like, "Okay, how much longer do you think you're going to be up here?" I'm like, "Probably about an hour and a half." He was like, "Okay, well, I appreciate it. Just make sure you're not over top of the practice field." Essentially that's all that they could do. It was clear that they weren't happy with it. Otherwise he wouldn't have been walking over there. But he, they really can't. Number one, I want to say D had said that they forced me to take it down. They did not. They have no legal recourse to tell me to take down the videos. Right. I was within my rights. Everything, I could have kept them up with no issue whatsoever. I took them down because I love this team. And if they really believe it's a disadvantage to the team that film is up, I'm going to take it down. I don't want to be the reason that people try to blame the Panthers for not being good this year because of the C3 Panthers podcast or any actions I take.
Bullshit. I got some bullshit to call on that in a second.
But nonetheless, but we got some really good footage. I start putting that up. The Panthers actually end up messaging me on Twitter and say, that this is, this presents a disadvantage to the team. We would like to see if you would be willing to take that down for us. Thanks. I was like, I was obviously a little.
Did you
frustrated
say, what about that dig you took at me 2 nights ago with our drone pilots better than yours, motherfuckers?
No, but I love that C3 came to that,
Sorry, Mom.
and started to do that on social media.
That was us. The fam got involved, man. The Mafia fam came out.
But there was a bit of a passive aggressive tone to their message. It said, the drone video you took today presented disadvantage to the team. Could you please pull them all down? Thanks, period. And so I went and looked and I was like, okay, they're not happy with me. Let me check to see if they're even still following me. They unfollowed me. Which is again, I'm whatever. It's just a team following you. It's not like it offered me any clout because of it. They had 7,000 people they're following. It's not like I was special. But I said, I'm more than happy to. I'm not trying to cause trouble. You honestly didn't need to unfollow me for that. Mr. Diggs and I had a good conversation about it. There was nothing posted anywhere about no video when I was at training camp for the first 3 days. So I thought nothing of it. If there are any clips you guys would like, I would be happy to provide. And so just to try to, again, a little bit passive aggressiveness about them essentially ignoring the multiple attempts I've had to try to say, hey, listen, I'd love to be able to help, if there's something I can do or anyway, again.
Well, also that to add a little more context too, during the past few days here at training camp, there was like a gentle nudge of like, oh, our drone pilot's better than yours.
Oh, gentle nudge.
Yeah, I mean, it was like
it was a clear dig at me because I had been messaging them about, hey, listen, I had posted on Twitter saying if you guys, year 2 of trying to get the Panthers to let me help them with some drone footage and all that stuff, and then I took a crazy awesome video of the actual stadium. They had it going crazy with the lights and all that stuff. I don't know if Greg, you got to see that or not. Maybe we pull that up and we'll show that to Greg if he hasn't had a chance to.
So
and
go ahead.
I
emailed. Let's keep going with this story.
Yeah, I messaged the team before all of this when I took that first video of the stadium. Nothing about the team, just the stadium. And I said, I saw you guys were doing some content, not trying to step on your toes. If you would like any of this footage I took, by the way, like 4K, 60 frames per second, like highest quality you could possibly ask for. And they didn't respond. They didn't see it. They've done this multiple times.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, and then so there was Mr. Diggs came up one more time and he was like, hey, we were hoping we could see your FAA license and all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. He wanted to take, I'm guessing that they're probably covering their bases to make sure they're probably making sure that I'm not spying for another team, essentially.
Okay.
And so, he was like, are you just a fan? I'm like, yeah, just a fan. No issues there. I'm actually talking to the social media team right now. I've already taken down all the footage and all that stuff. By that point, he was very nice and, everything. He actually gave me his number. So if there's ever like a question about what's going on or anything like that, I have his direct line. He works for the Panthers.
They could have gave us press passes and just let us do our thing. And that would have been, and you no, we don't have enough influence. We don't have enough influence though, but now the influence is too great.
Yeah, now we got lots of influence. So listen, this was brought up to Dave Canales in the press conference. And Tony, there's even a part of me that wants to play the Pat McAfee thing just because it's so there.
By the way, we're on Pat. Code Dizzle. And by the way, Pat McAfee, shout out to that homeboy.
Yes, and the way that he shouted out.
He's just
fucking
cool.
Shouted out CK, bro. Dude, it was incredible. But let's listen to Dave Canales. And again, this is
I love fun, this answer, by the way.
Yeah.
Dave, there was a deal yesterday, I guess, with a drone over practice that got public. Were there any steps taken by the organization? Was that concerning to you at all at your first camp?
You guys can ask Bruce about that afterwards. I wasn't aware of that, so maybe I should have my eyes kind of figuring out where these drones are. Put some fake plays out there for them or something, but I don't know.
I love that answer.
I wish they called it drone gate. I wish he would have asked that. All right, let me say one thing about that. All right, the idea that you're giving away something to the enemy on this is the most over exaggerated. They're like 7-on-7 drills. They're not running plays against the Saints. They're not running, you know what I'm saying? They're running a running play. Okay. CK, I will say this is that of all the things, though, out of all the people on this show that caused controversy, CK is like he's like, I just don't know some things. Here's some bad things about this thing. You don't want to get a bad rep. This mug is the one that got us in trouble.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, One Carolina, shout out to our guy John, says that if we play it on with the speed turned up, they won't flag us.
Oh, can we do it?
Oh, dude, we're going to.
It's the only one way to find out. Yeah.
You're right. It's like, I mean, really, like, unless you guys have hit 9,000 likes and subscribes. Actually, you know what? Screw it. We're only making like 47 cents off the ad revenue of this video.
Yeah,
how about this? Is I hate to ask like this. Is 2 people put $2 C3 bombs in there, and that'll make up for it.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, really, dude. But so that was his response. You want me to play it? I've got it. I mean,
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go amp it up to 1.25 and see if that works.
Yeah, I did.
I'll go through my story time after this.
Yeah, I did 1.50 just to be sure.
Okay.
This happened in Carolina, I guess. What? Down in Carolina, the Panthers, completely different story. There's a dude just flying a drone camera right over the practices, just flying right over the practices. This is a very easy thing to do, I guess, nowadays. So, like, I assume teams are acting accordingly because you would think, like, nobody will have enough. And this is just Code Dizzle. Code Dizzle's doing his thing for content.
This is the best. I love him here.
And Code Dizzle, he's got good grind. He's been working his ass off. Good drone flyer.
Yeah, steady with
good, good drone flyer. We're seeing Bryce Young do his thing, and Xavier Leggett, from South Carolina or whatever. But it's like Bill Polian used to be scared to death that somebody stuck in a training camp practice, put a hat on, and was recording everything. Now there's
so they're talking about it a little bit later. That's the majority.
I like how you want to talk about this is why people like Pat McAfee because of the authenticity is that he didn't go. He said this is we love CK for this shit.
Yeah, it's like he's on the grind. Great drone flyer, you know what I'm saying?
Oh man. Keep going, CK.
So I need to go into a little bit further depth as to why I said, I told you that this week just was a perfect week in a lot of ways. Things just lined up the way that they were supposed to. And that includes this. And so what I was really pushing for by doing this was I knew that this was going to get a lot of engagement because the videos I had been posting have been getting a lot, right? And so like if I can give people even a better view, I'm going to get, and I'm ultimately trying to get to 5 million engagements on Twitter in order to be able to monetize the channel and or monetize my handle. And just to see what that's like, that would be pretty cool. I'm at like 1.7 million just based off of this weekend alone. So I was it? Yeah. I was getting.
You could have gotten the 5 million just with that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And so taking it down was legit. I just want you to understand, like that legitimately probably did prevent me from actually monetizing, anything from it. So there was, it's not like I took it down without there being some sacrifice involved with it. So I want you to understand that. But the why this is a full circle moment is so Pat McAfee. A couple of things. Number one, a couple of years ago, they were looking for a new intro to their side. There's a offshoot to them, and it's called The Pod. And so they do a YouTube show every week once a week. And so they were trying to get a new intro. And so I actually threw I was like, hey, listen, I can't do music, but I can do the one man. Welcome to the pod. That's what I said. And so they actually showcased me on their show. And they were like, we need to have this guy. We need to have this guy. Ultimately, with Pat McAfee being involved, he ended up going with the music. That was The Year of the Buffalo. It was a great song. But so that never, came to fruition. But, I did, because of the connections that I had, I started to play some games with a couple of the guys that work for Pat McAfee. And so it had created I was somewhat, associated with them. And so it wasn't like we were playing every night or anything like that. But, there was, I'd message him on Discord or Twitter and say, listen, you gaming tonight? Yeah, I'm gaming. Let's go, hop on some more Call of Duty. So a couple of, maybe about a year after that, Pat McAfee obviously had gotten a big contract with FanDuel.
Yeah, I think it was FanDuel.
And he was really pushing, like giving away money. Like he was giving away a lot of money to people. And so one of the things, one week he was giving away $1,000 to, the 10 people that can guess which, basically give a bunch of stuff about like guessing scores and who's going to win this or whatnot. And so I won $1,000 from Pat McAfee 1 week, and I used that.
Did he give you a 1099 or did you get that?
1099. Yeah.
Damn it.
Then I used that $1,000 to actually purchase a drone.
The drone? Oh, the first drone.
Yeah, the first drone, which got me into like actually getting my license and everything like that, right? And so that's just a weird full circle moment that culminated on me being on Pat McAfee in that regard.
Do you think he remembered you at that moment?
Not Pat McAfee, no.
Yeah, because they were just seeing your Twitter handle. Like if you could reach out and say, hey, by the way, we need to let him know about this story. Somebody's got to clip that.
Well, I've got a story time on Twitter that's actually blown up.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know that his guys have seen it because I put on that story time. I was talking about
what is story? Oh, you mean where you talk? Oh, where you talked about it? Okay.
So in this video, I talk about basically what I just told you and talking about getting my drone license and all that stuff. And the only reason I know that the guys over at Pat McAfee saw it is because one of the guys messaged me this morning and said, "Hey, out of curiosity, was it hard to get your drone license?" So and I just kind of gave him a breakdown on what that looks like and what have you, but that showed me that he had actually watched the video, so it's clear that they're aware of it.
Very cool.
Do you want to get those 5 million? Did you see what Mac from WFNZ said?
No, what did he say?
He said, "Why don't we get CK?" Where he was responding. Why don't we get him flying over some Saints and Bucks practices?
I know. I did see that.
You want to get the 5 million like that? There we go.
Yeah,
all right, so the Panthers come in there. So the thing is they asked you to take down these. Do you really, out of the footage you got where they run, how many of those plays were actually plays? Weren't a lot of them drills and things like that?
Yeah, it was drills and plays and like the 11-on-11s and everything like that. I mean, I still have the footage. I'm going to let the boys watch here in the chat. Or in the on the panel, I'll upload them on Google Drive, and you can see what they were.
How about this? Let's do this. Let's put them in the Discord channel.
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't want to
public. Okay,
yeah,
all right. We're gonna keep the respect.
Those clips and what have you and stuff. So
by the way, I was scrolling through Instagram, which I never do. I'm always on Twitter, X. And I saw your shit on Panthers Uncensored, the one of Leggett getting pushed down, no credit, no nothing.
It happens, yeah.
That happens to everybody.
I commented, and I was like, "Oh, blah blah blah," and no response. I was just like, "Oh man, that's crazy. That's CK, and that's me beside him, talking to him while this fucking video was going down."
And dude, that Panthers Uncensored, they do that shit all the time. Like they steal everyone's shit.
All right. So, how about this? Are we gonna do another call or let's do another? I want to do another call before we get to the Reddit. Are we done with the drone? Do we got more stuff to talk about? The drone?
Yeah. The Reddit thing is like sort of pertaining to it.
All right, let's take one more call real quick and then do that because I need to breathe. Because I'm gonna get too mad at all this. Let's go to Lou in Fort Myers.
Yo, it's Lou from motherfucking Fort Myers, y'all.
What up, Lou?
And I just want to say thank y'all for that Saturday. If y'all showed up or y'all didn't show up, the energy, it was lit. I got I got a free T-shirt. I got put it on the Jumbotron, and when I got put it on the Jumbotron, I had to flash the C3 Podcast shirt. Like, what?
Yeah.
Let's go.
If I didn't, I got the Cats to football. Like, bro, that Saturday was the most. I felt like a little kid again, bro. And I saw Tony and CK walking down Mint Street, but I wasn't 100% sure, and I didn't want to be like, "Hey, Tony," and this random. I grew up from Fort Myers is not a nice place. I would have said that in Fort Myers. He'd be like, "Get the fuck off me," but I didn't know. But then, come to find out, I'm like, "Oh damn!" I'm low key 100% sure that was them, bro. I only got to see CK. I didn't even know CK was bald because most of the time I watched the podcast with the screen off. So I was like, maybe not. What really gave it away from me that made me think it was CK and Tony was Tony's hair. Because I was like, yeah, maybe not. But yeah, bro, Saturday was lit, bro. I enjoyed it, bro. Y'all got my boy Devin Tompkins from Fort Myers. I got to talk to not actually talk, but say what's up to Trey Boston because he's also from the same city as me, Devin Tompkins. So yeah, bro, Saturday was such a good day, bro, and I just want to thank everybody that showed up, bro. Oh, when I was there at the game too, there was another lady that was from Fort Myers too. Treated me like family. Everybody was in North Carolina so nice, bro. It's a nice climate change, I don't know why y'all moving down to Florida. Y'all gonna find out people are really mean over here, but man, it was all love, bro. I just wanted to call to say thank y'all. Love all y'all, bro. And until next time, maybe I'll go to the Patriots preseason game. Maybe. But until next time, love y'all, C3. It's Lou from Fort Myers.
Hey, Lou from Fort Myers, bro. Hey, man, that's love from C3, brother. Hey, never be afraid to call out to us, man. Even if you look weird, bro, you can still get a picture with us at C3, dude. We want to, and we're going to get into it here in a minute when we talk about this Reddit thing. I'm going to wait for Tony to get back before we really do it. But one of the things that I'm really just the most proud of is all the different walks of life and the people that hang out with us on a daily basis, every Tuesday, every Friday, during the season, 30 minutes after every single game. Like, we have some of the most diehard fans that support and listen to this content. And, it's the love of community and everyone feeling like this is a place where you can have your voice heard as a Panther fan. And we take a lot of pride for that. We want to continue to build upon that. And we want C3 to be a place where Panther fans can give their opinion on this team, no matter what it might be. We're very proud of that. We want to continue to build that. And then we hear people like Lou and D Money and Diesel Skills tell us that when John B calls in with that Warslaw update, bro, y'all provide us the fuel to continue to do this through 5 or 6 losing seasons in a row. Bro, we really mean it when we say we love y'all, man. Y'all have helped change our lives for the better. All of us.
All right, let's get into don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah, man, we are basically the exact opposite of what the fans on the Panthers subreddit are. So, listen, we have not been very well liked by those in the Panthers subreddit community for a long time for a lot of different reasons, which we will go through here. But this was posted by someone on the Panthers subreddit. And by the way, this was all in response to everything that happened with CK and his drone. This is from Big Recognition 995.
How about that as a humble tag right there?
Yeah.
First time I've ever heard of him. Never heard of these guys until
never heard of them before. It's crazy.
So me and Greg were even talking about who this might be. Never heard of these guys until last year when the one guy was blindly anti-Bryce all year long. Now, that could be myself because on Twitter, I was very, very, very vocal and very almost trollish about how Bryce was. And the Bat Daddy himself also kept it a buck and was very real about Bryce's performance last year. He goes on to say, could ignore it for the most part, but still found them on my feed from time to time. Today, the knucklehead has been doing a victory lap because he got a drone and was uploading our entire practice on Twitter, and Pat McAfee picked it up. Sure, great, cool to see, but WTF, every concept, route, adjustment, etc. of the team, you support just posted on a public forum from an extremely advantageous angle. Oh my God, dude, he's really going deep with this one. Now, I doubt any team would actually use/need what he posted, but I just can't imagine what would possess a fan to spy on his own team?
Like,
are you
watch
fucking
practice?
dense?
You dumb.
Bro, are you
All right, let me
fucking
keep my
dense?
mouth cool.
Dude.
You know, we all get
So-
to these practices. By
Yeah,
the
and
way.
his final sentence: "Take your ass to Flowery Branch and make yourself useful."
What does that mean? What is
dude,
Flowery
people-
Branch?
That's
mean?
where the Falcons have their training camp.
Oh, okay.
So over the internet and over time doing this pod, whether we love it or hate it, we have built up a reputation as the anti-Bryce people.
This guy has not told me anything that Ash hasn't told me. That I'm an asshole.
So a few things. Number
Heard
one,
this one before.
y'all act like these people act like they're not going to figure this shit out game one. Like there's not a preseason game that they're going to go through.
It's not a secret. I mean,
know,
okay,
dude.
all right. I will give you this. Is that okay? Do you want to, I guess, preserve any sort of whatever? I guess secrecy. But this is an open practice to fans.
Right. So it's an open practice to fans that is allowed to actually video in the stands. That's not a completely poor angle, to be quite honest with you. When you look at the angle that you can get if you get up higher in the stands, you have a very close to above, the field look at what's going on. So
Yeah,
that's
you're pretty
number one.
top down.
Yeah, exactly. Number two is you think in your knowledge of the NFL, you think that they have installed this full offense so that all of these players they're not going to have on the
week one
team.
game plan. Week one, you blew week one game
Do you
plan.
think, do you think they're going to be doing this with all of these players that aren't going to be a Panther come week one so that they can go to another team and just be like, here's their game plan?
And like, does anyone think that like if we were preparing for a playoff game or something, like we would be doing some shit like that and
No, they wouldn't have an open practice.
It's the dumbest thing in the world, but I wanted to say this. Listen, I used to be a fan of the Panthers subreddit. I used to be on there a lot, especially in 2015. They had some good podcasts on that sub. But over the years, it has become everything that I am proud the C3 Nation isn't. It's a bunch of gatekeepers telling people what opinions are and aren't allowed about the Carolina Panthers. And we don't do that over here. If you want to jump on the circle jerk and, never ever be able to reasonably criticize players on our team, that's fine. You're allowed to do that. But to say that, like, we are actively trying to either hate on players or spy on the team for nefarious reasons, like, bro, y'all sound like a bunch of dweebs, man.
DK just made a fantastic point, though. There are 47 people that are going to be cut from this, or 37, I think. 90 to 53. What is that? 37? Yeah, 37 people are going to be cut from this roster. The inside secret idea is just so overrated. Now, I understand, and I'll be fair. Look, and there's CK took the videos down because of this, right? Is because
we took them down. I feel like that also needs to be repeated. We did not have to take
a
them down.
one-on-one drill is not giving away some special sauce right here,
and we still took it down.
My last point is this: is Reddit is a great place to go if you want to solve like. And if we didn't have a cool ass mug like when Carolina is saying 1.5, speed it up. Like if we got on Reddit, there would be some deep dive in how to get around. It's a deep but you know what? That's also where the assholes of the internet congregate. That's what I say.
Oh yeah,
the assholes of the internet, like to the point where it's like, oh, you can't comment on this. You've only got 73 karma.
Yeah, dude. It's such a gate-kept community, and it used to be a fun place to be, but now, like, dude, it's like not even politic-wise. It's like super woke. They will attack you if you have any opinion that runs outside of the group thing. And by the way, I'll post this clip directly to Reddit. I don't give a damn. We're not hiding from anyone. Like, we're all Panther fans, and we're not running from anyone, dude.
Go ahead, Greg.
Can I read my response?
Oh, you responded.
Oh, I responded.
I was not even. I saw it. I saw Cody send it to me, and I was like, I'm not even.
And not only did Greg respond, But our boy Strats, I know, went and made another post in there in defense of us, which was very nice. But go ahead, Greg.
So the thing that got me was the blindly anti Bryce hate all year long, and like that because that's just not accurate.
Oh man,
So-
I can't believe the Saints saw that.
Yeah, right. So my response to him was 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and 2 wins. He threw 1 touchdown in both wins combined, and the defense held the opponents to 7 and 13 points. Oh yeah, and we had 0 points scored for the Panthers' last 2 games of the season. Criticizing based on what you see isn't blindly anti-Bryce hate. It's just speaking out about what the product was sold as and what it turned out to be. Now, on the other hand, looking at those stats and overall performance and trying to make an argument that it wasn't bad is blind love, especially when the guy they took over Bryce over had the best rookie quarterback season ever. Facts are facts, and it's all on tape for everyone to see. I hope Bryce improves, and I believe he could. However, trying to pretend he had looked anything but bad last year is blind love. If Bryce puts up another season like he did last year, let's see.
Y'all be hating on him
let's see how quickly the blind love fades. That was my response. Like it's just ridiculous, man. People want to believe what they want to believe to make them feel better.
Yeah. So I put this one up because it's just it's literally just a drill
pass.
of Bryce
right
throwing the ball. So like it's and you guys can see him shooting throwing from the 25 to the 25. So a 50-yard shot right there. So I mean, just little things. Actually, you know what? I think this one will be fine too. I'll show you this one. This one's actually really cool because it shows.
By the way, CK's like 2.5 miles away from the stadium.
Yeah, dude, he really is like far.
So let me do this one here because I think you guys would like this one as well.
But again, this is where the exaggeration of that comes from. Is like that is, and look, is I think if you saw the intention of some of these things is the fact that CK just said, you know what, I don't got a problem. I'll take these down if you feel that way. But they also poked at you for being like, oh, we like our drone pilot. We're giving them free footage of the stadium to use.
Everybody's gonna know what we're gonna do now.
2 quarterbacks throwing at the same time.
Dude, they're gonna know all of our shit.
Is that the game plan?
Oh, take this down.
Out.
Okay.
2 quarterback formation with 2 footballs. I get this is where I get for I have tried to put these things out of my mind, and it's so hard at times because if any of these mugs, big at reputation or whatever, if they know how hard it is to build any type of show or thing like this that has any traction. I have been grinding on this mug since 2013. Grinded. Where like I know the first Steve Daner is his name. He was my first follow on Twitter. I have 7,000 over 7,000 followers on Twitter. Every one of those fucking follows was a grind to get, not every, you know what I'm saying? But like the idea that these are just, I think what we do in this world too much is just shit on other people.
Yeah.
Without just saying this is like, you know what? Is like, hey, I don't really like what these guys were saying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't listen, but no, I got to call them fucking idiots. I got to call them, you know, like,
yeah.
Everybody thinks their opinion matters. Yeah, that's what it is.
And look, when we first started the cat calls segment, and by the way, the technology has really changed. Like it's so much. How about this? Is any of y'all mugs, which I encourage all of y'all, you want to start a podcast, you want to start a video, go out there and
that's another thing, dude. We always say the rising tide lifts all boats. If you don't like us, you can literally come on the Friday free for all and tell us about it. You can go on the cat calls line and tell us about it. Like we're not gatekeepers over here. We like the differing of opinion. That's why there's more of us on the panel. There's more of us in the chat room. We like the dialogue and the back and forth. And if you feel like you can do better, well then fucking do it.
And I'm rooting for you. You. But when I started this podcast, it was, do you know going live on the internet in 2013? Do you know how difficult it was? like to stream to YouTube to stream to like it was not now that anybody can get StreamYard as plug and play. I was using OBS. I was capturing screens. Even CK would give me shit for so much when he came on the podcast. He'd be like, man, the video quality really sucks on this. I'm like, bro, I'm doing the best I can. I'm capturing screens. I'm trying to do all this. Now we can all just pay this little fee a month and come up here and do it. It was such a technological. The cat calls intro, which I'm pretty good at these audio intros. If I sit down, I used to have a lot of energy and do them. I made that. I just was going on like clipping and doing all this on Audacity. It was when we started the cat calls segment. I was so terrified because I was like, somebody's like, and it was Mel. He's like, we need to take calls. We need to take calls. I was like, you know what the worst thing is to open up calls and nobody fucking call. Right? It's like, you know, we were grinding on this. We would come out of here clapping and there'd be 8 people watching. Clapping about ourselves. We had, when we first started the cat calls, I had friends call. I was like, bro, please, just one call. Just call and leave it just so we don't have an empty line. So look, is you can shit. Look, I would say this is there was a time where I would love to be hated. Maybe I'm still there. Is the fact that y'all are talking shit is like, all right, you know, I mean, like there was a time where nobody even hated the podcast. I could get up here and say the most outrageous, outlandish shit and nobody even fucking pay attention. And now y'all like, oh, y'all hate me. You know what? If you don't like it, then God bless.
Hey,
and get in the cat calls and fucking get in there. We'll bring you on the show. I'm not upset.
By the way,
I'm not butthurt by this.
Rockhead said that Panthers Uncensored apparently did credit CK. I don't know. Listen, I don't.
The damn video I was watching, he didn't.
Oh, okay.
Let me.
Well,
all right.
I don't really.
How about Rockhead? Rockhead, send it to me on Twitter. I want to see where it said thanks Code Dizzle or thanks C3. See credit by that because and maybe I'm wrong because I don't use Instagram a lot. I might have missed it. Somebody else said Kyle L says y'all got dogged on Panthers. You know what?
Good.
Fine,
dude.
You know
listen, it's almost better. It's almost better in today's world to be infamous than it is for famous.
I mean, what are we getting dogged over? You're getting dogged over for doing a podcast every
you know what it is?
11 years.
No. We had the gall, the absolute gall to last year come out here and say that Bryce looked like ass.
DK did. DK just defended him all year. I was kind of middle of the road. So no, I mean, if you guys, if the simpletons want to believe this is one voice, one note, then that's just wrong.
Well, CK didn't blindly follow though.
Yeah,
but he defended him. He was a positive voice. He pushed back while you were going, and then Cody even went further, and then I was here like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was not a one note thing.
Right.
No, but we were also a 2-15 team last year, right? And so a few things. Again, I want to put this out there. If you as a Panthers fan believe that what was put on the internet was our playbook for the week 1 season, you do not believe in your Carolina Panthers very much. Basically, your assumption is
throwing
that this
2 footballs
staff,
at the same time. New plan.
Right. Your belief is that this coaching staff can't. That they're installing their entire playbook in the first 4 days of training camp. You are out of your mind. There isn't a single offense on the planet that's new to a team that they're going to install in the first 4 days. It's just not going to happen. Dave Canales himself said that that's going to take weeks for them to be able to do the full install because it is a complex offense, right? And so now we could take that as a grain of salt, whatever, right? The thing that's important, and this is where people don't understand, the Panthers did not say you could not video the practice from the stands, right? And if you believe that I was able to get some sort of footage that other teams are going to use that they aren't going to be able to get after week 1 or even week 1 of the preseason, you're out of your mind.
Yeah,
there's all 22 that they're going to have access to. Like, this is not
Bro, the stuff they're not doing it. They're not, and that's the. All right, I'm not gonna defend. Look, if you don't like the drone, and you know what, CK, I didn't say it to you, but I knew that this was gonna do something like that.
Sure.
I left.
knew
I
that there
was
would be
gone.
backlash.
I was already back at Greenville.
Yeah.
At this point, but the idea is that I would just say this: is get off y'all's. This is not about the drone stuff. This is about just the hate, or not the hate, or whatever, dissatisfaction with the opinions and this and that. Get off your high horse, people, and recognize the grind, dude. I mean, if you don't know how much it's not, and again, now this makes it sound like I'm making it about me.
Yeah, but we don't.
I fucking have been doing this podcast when nobody watched, nobody listened. This is why I say to everybody, if this was about the money, I would have quit fucking 10 years ago.
Well, and listen, here's the thing too, right? There's not another team that would want to spy on the Panthers first and foremost, by the way.
That's what Tony Diggs said on Pat McAfee.
Let's be real about it. If they're going to risk some sort of a ramification, they're not spying on the Panthers. They're not you know what? We as Saints, our biggest concern this year is the Carolina Panthers. Like, there is not a single person out there. Number one. Number two, there's not a single team that would say spying in the first 4 practices of a training camp is going to give them any advantage.
All right, how about this? Let's address this comment, because I want to make sure, again, not one note, and I am not I'm not hurt by criticism. Kyle L says this. No. He says, if the Patriots did this and it was a fan, we would be losing our shit. Don't lie.
Nope.
Losing our shit over what?
I disagree.
Over what?
I truly disagree, because I am of a firm belief. And if you've ever been, and I've said this over and over on this podcast and to friends, I could give you a list of 100 people that have heard me say this, that the craziest thing when you go to a training camp and they say it's practice, these mugs do one drill and then move on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's like the idea they're not installing an offense. I mean, maybe they're installing some basic. I just don't really. Okay, and if you believe that, and it's okay, I'm all right with someone having a different opinion. So that's would we be going nuts? I mean, I guess you would be going nuts that the fact that other fans are doing this. I mean, I just don't really feel like some cat was out of a bag.
Right. But here's the most important piece to this. And Kyle, you may not have been here. You may not know the whole story. Mm-hmm. Before I ever posted a single video, the Panthers found me and they just asked, how long are you going to be out here? Just make sure you don't fly over top of this practice stadium.
How did they know? Did they have eyes up?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm assuming that they have some sort of ability to find that. But the thing is they were aware before a single video was posted online that I was flying the drone with the intention of videoing. Like, that was, and they were like, okay, they just asked how long I was going to be up there, make sure I wasn't over top of the practice field, all of that. So hey, all right, we got the go ahead. There's nothing,
Tepper is like, I knew I should have fucking kept that Rock Hill facility.
Well,
right.
Part of what Kyle's saying here, like there is it's not a caveat. There are elements to this that's not. I mean, he's right. If the Patriots came and did this, I'd be pissed. If the qualifier is if it was like a day before we were playing the Patriots,
or the week before, not open training camp to fans.
That's the qualifier. Like CK said, 49 of these people are not even going to be on the team come day one, and they're going to be on other teams. So the stuff they see here,
did they get? Do these guys get playbook? How about let's ask this? Maybe the Panthers can. Maybe actually Panthers Reddit can answer this for us, since they know it all.
I think I've heard this question asked before.
Do players in training camp have a playbook?
I think they do, but I don't think that it's the
not
playbook.
A playbook. It's not the calls, but it's not the verbiage. It's not.
I think that Brad Idzik and Dave Canales do have a playbook now.
That they give to a guy that knows not going to be on the roster. Think about this. We know that there's 10 people on this that are just bodies there.
Yeah, but even if you know some of that playbook
secrets,
like what are you going to do? Memorize it and go tell it to whatever
The playbook
team you
is
sign on.
run middle, run a post.
And by the way, they didn't. I want to also say this: they did not tell me to stop. They have no legal ability to tell me to stop. I could have done it the entire. I could have kept the videos online. There is literally nothing that they could do.
It's a fly zone. It's a fly zone.
I was I'm a licensed FAA pilot for drones, Part 107, and so I know the laws and how that's supposed to work. I was not flying over top of anybody. I was far enough away from the stadium to where or from the practice field that there was no risk of anybody being injured by a drone falling out of the actual sky. And they don't have the ability to say you can't video. They can try to tell you in the actual facility because you're on their private property, but they cannot. That's like saying that satellites can't photograph over top of the earth, right? They can't tell you that. And so that's the part of it. Like they can try to do, if I was monetizing, they probably could try to find an angle to try to do something. I wasn't,
maybe.
This was
Google Maps is, how about this is that if, oh, look, I just said Google and my phone just went, no, it's listening. You want to be worried about that. Google's walking around filming your whole damn life. Like Google Maps is, anyway, I'm not, my last point is just about and it's not about Panthers Reddit. I can give a shit about people that don't like it. I'm done. I don't beg people to like me. I don't care if you dislike me. Ask every single person that ran into me at Resident Culture. You can ask Strats this. You can ask Ricky this. All I told him is this: is just be you. That's what the internet wants. If I have one piece of advice to how, and well, Strats wasn't asking for advice about, but be yourself, man. And that's all I really think that this podcast has tried to do is we've just been ourselves. Like we haven't tried to be journalists. We haven't tried. In fact, that's why we're begging for those we don't take ourselves seriously, but we take what we do seriously. So enough is look,
we're not professional football experts.
We're expert
football fans.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, if you don't like it, you just don't like it. I mean, I'm not trying to and that's okay. And by the way, imagine a world on the internet where everybody liked you.
Oh yeah. But dude, that's why it doesn't bother me. And
the most likable person in the world, and supposedly this podcast fucking hates him.
Well, again, so I'll say one more thing too, right? Like again, we have this notion that we are the anti-Bryce pod. One, it's bullshit. None of us want to be doing this whole drafting another quarterback thing again and again and again. Like we want Bryce to be the guy. We don't want to do this again because then that means we're setting the whole team back. Number two, also, not only were we so bad last year, but the other quarterback that we could have drafted was the offensive player of the year. And just nobody's supposed to say anything. Nobody's supposed to have an opinion. What a lot of people don't say is there was a divide that really tore Panther fan base asunder. It was that Bryce versus CJ Stroud debate. And we're still living through that debate right now.
Did you see the mass comments? There was a bunch of comments on our live cult when we were at Resident Culture, and people are going, "I really think Tony's gay."
Yeah, I saw that one.
You know what? And how about this? I would say this: is I'm secure enough in my sexuality. Ask them girls. Actually, you know what? I don't give a fuck. You think whatever you want. I got a type when it comes to football players, and they're 6'5" and they're fucking mutants. So yeah, I mean, I'm like, I got a type, and so I'm like, oh, I was hot for Cam Newton. I say it all the time. I'm gay for Cam Newton. I fight for Cam Newton right now. Cam Newton doesn't even know who his greatest love is.
I don't even know if Cam Newton knows who we are, which
no, he doesn't.
That makes me sad. But
he met me. And he learned about my history, he'd be like, oh man, nobody but my mama has loved me as much as you have loved me. But I'm like, I got to type Anthony Richardson, and people because I like to make fun of that shit because guess what? This mug don't hate the player, hate the game.
Can I point something out too? I just opened up X on my phone just to look at it, and the first thing that popped up in my feed was somebody standing directly behind, looks like the end zone, on the ground, filming the Bears training camp, and there is not a single negative comment about giving the season away or ruining the team from anybody on there.
Because the
How is
drone
that
thing
any
does
different?
sound so scientific and
Well,
cool.
it is.
and-
Well, it's a few things. So here's the thing. In my opinion, so we have been informed by media people about how strict the Panthers are. And they're so strict that, like, basically they tell them that they can't have the cameras up in a lot of the practice. The Cowboys don't have that. Like, they literally have people on a raised level being able to film the entire thing, and they can do highlight after highlight after highlight after highlight. There's no issue. And so the Panthers are one of the most restrictive when it comes to the media being able to actually video and all this stuff. And that's part of, by the way, that's also a part of the reason why media is so, like, anti-podcast. It's not anything to do with us. It's that we're the only ones that can do this because there's no ramifications. They can lose their media passes and all that stuff.
Oh, guess what? How great, how much info that got them.
I know. And so, you know, this is just, in all honesty, stuff like this happens because they're so restrictive. You know what I mean? If they were willing to actually allow for better coverage, it doesn't have to be the entire practice, but better coverage. There wasn't anything coming out of training camp except for occasional, like, videos the team would actually put out there, which is just a ball in the air and then being caught by somebody. That's not enough to get people interested in this team or feel excited about this team. You have a team coming off of an entire NFL worst record of 2-15. Like, that is a horrible record. Your job this year as a media team is to get people excited. And it's not doing that with a ball in the air and Leggett catching a ball. You need to see that this entire offense is running with like a well-oiled machine. You need to see Bryce Young's footwork. You need to see all of these things that I think are important to Panthers fans to be able to get that excitement up. If you're trying to sell tickets, if you're trying to get excitement, sell jerseys, this is the way to do it, not being restrictive with that information. So that this is ultimately a part of the flaw in their process that I think they're so controlling and so unwilling to evolve that this is what the result is.
All right. I want to highlight Kyle L's comment because I'm glad. Look, diversity opinions always welcome here. He said, ding, ding, ding. You just told us why you shouldn't film. And in a small, limited way, I mean, it's okay to think that. But we also were hanging out with members of the media. And one of their craziest complaints at the Saturday practice is that they wouldn't let them do the basic things that have always been acceptable, right? Like, is that we're talking about first the media they're allowed to film for the first, generally they used to be able to film for the first 15 or 20 minutes of camp, but is that even the media was like, all right, this is an unnecessary. We can't even do us doing a single broadcast with people running around in the background. So here is the thing is, if you guys want to, and I'm fine. I'm here for diversity opinions, but I'm always like, I'm just to the time of my life where I'm like, all rich people cry the loudest. Like, I mean, it's just whine.
Yeah,
like, I mean, like,
dude,
and
dude, also remember,
mugs ain't giving away no fucking secrets.
Tony,
You think
what
they're gonna
did I
have an
tell
open
you?
practice and be like, oh, I can't wait. Week 7, we got this prep for. Do you remember? I was with Tampa Bay. I know we're prepping for this. Come on, if we really think
and
that.
Tony, what did I tell you is one of the biggest problems with this generation? Everyone does the virtue signaling, man. Like, everybody's gonna run with this thing. Like, oh, I mean, and again, we say everybody, but it's really only like a couple fucking people that run with this. But like the idea that we're going out and trying to do something detrimental to the Panthers just for clout is dumb, man. Like, all we want to do is provide good Panther content to people, for people. That's what we do, man. Frankly, I'm done with it. It was fun. Dude, it was fun while it lasted. CK, you provided incredible content this entire time, and C3 is going to continue to provide you the best Panther content year round. That's what we do. Baby.
In the universe. And I want diversity opinions. You know what I'm saying? So like, I have some friends that have been telling me, oh, I don't feel like I've been saying enough of what you need to hear, what you want to hear. I was like, I don't want to hear what I want to hear. I want to hear what you got to say. So Kyle L, thank you very much for the input. You know what I'm saying? And I want diversity opinions. This place is here for that, or at least it is for me. Because if any of these mugs start getting mad at me for disagreeing with them, they're going to have a brother they got to fight. Because we're going to disagree.
Oh, for sure.
And if we all agree, that's
we have been fighting on this post game show a couple times.
Oh gosh, we get at it. All right, let's take another call. All right.
Yep.
Podcast brothers, how y'all doing? G Cavassier. Hey man, I'm gonna say something
What up,
that a lot of
G?
people realize or they don't realize. I'm hearing a lot of good praises about Miles Sanders, man. And the thing is with me, I think he's 100% healthy now, man. And I'm telling you, if he's healthy, like healthy, and runs pretty good, I don't know what's going to happen. Because, you know, we got Chuba Hubbard, and we got Brooks. Once Brooks gets healthy, that could be a three-headed monster. I look at Sanders like a damn power back. You know what I'm saying? I really do. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not really hearing a lot about Xavier like that. I thought I was going to hear more. I'm really not hearing that much about him. I'm not really worried because it's training camp, you know, but I'm like, come on now. I keep hearing about Thielen, even TMJ. I hear people talk about him like 2 days in a row. And my thing is, you know, to me, he's a damn bust, TMJ, man. He scored that one touchdown. If y'all can remember when we were getting blown out by the damn Bengals. That's the only touchdown I remember this can't ever happen. But am I looking too deep into this with Miles Sanders and Xavier? Or do y'all feel the same way? Give me y'all thoughts on that, y'all. Keep pounding.
So listen, today, my boy Miles Sanders had a angry run out here. Put the hit stick on him. Snaps. Oh, puts his head down. Bro, he put who was that, 33? Dude, he put one dude in the ground. Miles Sanders is running angry, running hard. And listen, one of the things that I know we've said for a long time is like, dude, put an offensive line in front of this guy. Like we saw what happened in Philadelphia when that guy had decent run blocking. So to me, it's not a surprise that Sanders is starting to look a little better than he was. You know, especially now, we haven't even talked about Rashad Penny up and retiring out of nowhere today after he has a meeting with Dave Canales and says that he essentially feels like he lost a step somewhere along the line. So if that's going to happen, I like the fact that we're already seeing footage of Miles Sanders being aggressive, running strong. I like it, man. Sanders might be able to do something good for us this year.
I got two comments here. One, something about what you just said. If Penny signs with another team, does that speak volumes about did he really lose a step, or did he see something in Carolina he didn't like?
No, he retired.
Maybe
he
that's what I'm saying.
Dude,
but if he can come out of retirement and sign with another team. So I'm
Yeah,
saying if
Penny
he comes out
retired.
of retirement and signs with another team, do you think he didn't like the position he was in Carolina, or he didn't like the
Oh,
team
but he
called?
can't.
Or
He
he
has,
did it
he
all to
has
give
a-
away the playbook.
No, but he can't do that though. He has a contract with us.
Oh, does
Yeah,
he?
so
Okay.
if he comes out of retirement, he has to come back to the Panthers, or
Okay,
we would
same
have to
way.
trade him. Yeah, we'd have to
same
trade him.
way, what's his name did? Le'Veon Bell did.
Yeah. Not Le'Veon Bell, but
Oh, he just sat out, didn't he? Yeah.
I think the best comparison I would make is Sean Payton. I know that sounds like a weird one, but
Okay.
No, I mean,
and I wanted to comment about G. Capacity with that call. He's asking if he's reading too far into it. I don't know if you're reading too far into it. I hope Miles Sanders is good this year. I'll tell you what I noticed last year in training camp, and this is different than day one of padded practice, but in training camp, and you guys might be able to back me up on this, the running backs would run through the hole, and then everybody would just stop trying to hit them. and then they would just continue running. So it looked like they would blow through the hole and make an amazing run and run, but everybody just stopped. Nobody would hit anybody. So they get close to him. And so I don't know if that's what made Miles Sanders look so good. I really do hope that he is good this year. I'm not saying he's not going to be, but I think once again, it's so hard to tell with training camp. For me, it's just like the combine. You know, you're running basic plays that you should be able to do well with lack defense and no pads on and no pressure. So I'm not going to base anything off that. I'm glad he's looking good, but I think saying that he's going to have a great season. I know you didn't say he's going to have a great season. I think thinking he's going to have a great season right now is reading too far into it. But
for sure,
that run did look good right there.
All right,
yeah,
let's
I mean,
go.
I'll say real quick with Miles Sanders. I think we all, at least that was witnessing at training camp, he does seem to be the primary back again. Like he seems to be the guy that is getting the looks. He's there.
Oh,
I mean,
another one. Should we call everybody out on the internet that just shit on him for a fucking year?
Yeah, but dude, that was the name of this tweet. It says Panthers. What do you say?
Oh God, are they giving away too much?
No, Miles Sanders. That they shamed him into being a good player again or something like that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
dude, he had you missed it, Tony. He had an angry run today at practice, and
good. You know,
yeah, I mean,
Bryce,
listen, I am hopeful with a better offensive line that Miles Sanders can really make something happen this year.
I want all the haters to go back and listen. Go back and spend the 9 million hours that I've been doing this podcast, because last year was just a shit show, but I also throughout all of it, and you know what? Fuck it. Why do I got to defend myself? The whole point is that who could have done anything good last year?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? And I don't like the idea of saying everybody should get a mulligan, because that's just like, I think Greg would be in here going like, Tony, shut the fuck up. You can't say that about, and it's right. He's right. But it was so bad. The idea that anybody could be their greatest or even good. There was nothing good last year.
Yeah.
Nothing good last year. And it was a shit show at the top. It was a shit show at the top. It was so bad that it's beyond bad. I just called the shit poo. And that's an old Adam Sandler reference from Billy Madison or Billy Madison. I called the shit poo. It's not even poo, it's shit.
Yeah. And so with Miles, again, I want to make this abundantly clear. Bryce in his presser seems to be really thrilled with what Miles Sanders is bringing to the table, with his energy, with his play, with his explosiveness. Again, I think it's fair to say a lot of the people on the offense are going to get a pass, right? I'm not saying a complete pass, but they're going to be getting like a last year never existed for them, right? And it's fair to say Miles Sanders can be the recipient of that. The only detractor from that is the fact that Chuba Hubbard came in and had more production, but it's a different run style.
Yeah, it's just that he just crashes, and we were running by that point, and the whole shit was like, there's so much. It's too one note of an explanation.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to John B. Jenkins. It's time for our European football update.
Update. Hey, by the way, real quick before you started, for $5 love bomb, or pardon me, C3 bomb. I gotta use that. Rockhead 81 says a little support for Codizzle. Get a drone out of jail fee for next time.
He gave you a Monopoly card. Get a drone at a jail free
All right,
card.
I've screenshotted it. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I have that for the next time.
You know
somebody...
what? It's when they ask you for your drone license, be like, don't worry.
Here's this.
I got this.
And just hand them $5.
Thank you. No, Rockhead, awesome, man. Look, generosity over the moon. The idea that anybody gives $1 this podcast is just incredibly meaningful to me. Don't forget, you can be a C3 super fan for $1.99. And that makes a big difference to us, particularly in the off season when that small thing, those like our revenue and calling it revenue is like embarrassing. Like if you saw it, like what the fuck? All right. So it's like 60% fan donations or more, so or more. Sometimes in the season, we'll get a couple of sponsorships. and some things, but they don't pay as much. I mean, you're talking like a $25 read per show. So you think about that, you know what I'm saying? Is like you're reading an advertisement for Manscaped, you got $25, which is, hey, look, I'm not gonna we didn't do it for the money, but look, I will say this, super incredible that anybody would even give their that would give their money. To me, what is more incredible is that you would give your time and your energy and your listens. So if you want to do something and you don't want to give, and you don't have the ability or the desire to give money, what you can do is smash the thumbs up button, subscribe. And think about this, is like smashing the thumbs up button is like a $2 C3 bomb, not even like a 20 cents, whatever it is.
Yeah, and the notification, but and tell somebody, man.
Yeah,
Listen,
that's
we
the
have
$5. The $5 C3 bomb is the share.
Dude,
is
listen,
the
we have
share. It's be
fans.
like, oh, look at these assholes. Do that. How about that? Drop that link, because look at these
Let them
assholes.
know, man. We have fans in California, Idaho, Florida, Manchester, England, Canada, Germany. Dude, we have fans all around the world now, man. And if you don't live around Panther fans, you don't have no one to talk Panther football with, man.
Hey, like, a share, and a sub is free.
This is the community for y'all. Like, share, hit the notification bell, and
That's
tell
free.
somebody about what we're doing, baby. That's all.
That's free. And I'll take my picture with you. Actually, no, I won't take my picture with you. I'll ask you to take your picture with me. Let's go
Thank
to
you, Panther. Yeah, we see you out there. Therapy sessions, baby. You already know.
Hey guys, it's John B. Jenkins back with your European League of Football update and an update on your favorite
This
team
might
in the
be the
league,
most depressing
the
segment
Panthers
that has
Frosh Law.
ever existed on this show.
Boy, was it a complete flip of the script from last week, 40-0 drubbing. We beat the shit out of the Fehérvár Enthroners from Hungary to a tune of 62-12. And that was with an emergency quarterback in place.
It sounds like he should be the starting
Our new
quarterback.
guy that we had signed back, Matty Ice, had to go back to the States for some family reasons. And I guess we weren't confident in the third-string quarterback, which is the Polish kid. I can't even pronounce his name. But our recently acquired American wide receiver, Josiah Norwood from UCLA, apparently had played some high school quarterback. And they threw him in there. Dude was like 11 of 14 for only 78 yards. But we had two returns or maybe it was just one. Just one. It was one more return for special teams ace Devin Burrell, another one of our American players. Dude does what he always does. I don't even know why they keep kicking to him, but he's the best returner in the league. He's got about 678 yards in returning yards, a punt return touchdown, and two kickoff return touchdowns. And again, they use that XFL or UFL style kickoff. But yeah, Matt Cole, our other American player, he came back from IR and hauled in two big touchdowns. Brzezowski got a lot of yards. Kennedy Adams, number 21, our dual citizenship American/Russian running back threat. He, shined in this game. It was awesome. It was really fun to watch. And also, it's just a fun time to be a Panthers fan. I mean, I love y'all's coverage from Charlotte this past week. It was so fun. And man, I hate that I missed out meeting up with you guys in my hometown, but I'm up here in Chapel Hill now, and I only get down there every now and then. But I'm definitely going to meet up with you guys next year. This is just so fun to be part of this community. Deez is the man, the brand ambassador. Dude is just the nicest guy on Twitter, and just makes me feel like a star.
Him and
Deez is the man.
We got white
Anyway,
Deez and
just wanted to say
Deez.
all that, and
That's
as
the best.
always,
Don't say black.
again, I'm looking forward to this season. I will keep you guys updated on the Panthers Frosh Law, and
hold on. He got cut here. He's got a 15-second. Well, don't worry. We're gonna give you time, John B, because you're the man.
And I got cut off. But as always, keep pounding Carolina Panthers, keep pounding Panthers Vroshlov, and keep pounding C3. John B. Jenkins out.
Cody, is last year when we were searching for a head coach, right? And all of the different, and I was completely wrong on all the things. I thought Frank Wright was going to be okay. I didn't think it was going to be great. I mean, I was like, but my guy I wanted was Jim Caldwell. And my joke is that Frank Reich is white Jim Caldwell and Jim Caldwell is black Frank Reich.
And they're like a doppelganger of one another.
I think that D's ill skills is white D. D from Sanford. D from Sanford. And D from Sanford.
They're like the. No, how about this? They are brothers.
They're like they were like
they are the
brothers that have been split.
Dude, they are the yin to each other's yang.
No, they're yin yang.
No, they're the yin to the yang. Dude, they are the most optimistic fans that we have. We love those dudes.
They're the yin and yins.
No, I mean they're like the mirror of one another. They're like the same, but they're mirrored. And dude, we have to pause the show, dude.
Yeah.
No, dude, my man, Hackbeard gifted 40 memberships to the C3
the greatest
Panthers
gift.
Pod.
I got one of them. I'd never done
Cody got one.
I
got one.
Man, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, Hackbeard.
No, give him this. He didn't give 20. He gave 20, and then he came back with 20.
Another one, man.
That's not enough. 20.
It's the
greatest shout out to
Hackbeard,
brother.
You gave it to fans, and you helped support. And when we say support the show is like
Incredible,
this,
man.
is that we spent, and not we. It's not a cry. It's like we went to Charlotte and we spent a butt ton of money in a way that not in a and it was just inadvertently, right? It's like it's not. We don't do this for a dollar payback. If we did this for a dollar payback, I would have never done it in the first place. I would tell you this: if you want to make money in this game, don't do it for the money.
No.
Just go out there, and if it comes, it will come to you. If it doesn't,
hey, it helps me out. I fucking love it. Keep that shit coming, brother. I love it.
Actually, we're gonna start setting calls. We're gonna be like this. Look, all right, let's go to the next call. Oh, John B. Jenkins wants some more. Thank you, Rocky.
Hey, it's John B. Jenkins back again. I just to tell you guys, so the Panthers, with this victory, puts us at 4-5. Now, remember, the top two teams of each division, there's 3 divisions going to the playoffs. We are currently sitting at second, and the team that we are ahead of is also 4-5, the Berlin Thunder. We beat them earlier in the year. So that, we've got the tiebreaker on that. Anyway, we have a bye this week, and they go up against the Paris Musketeers, who are a hot-as-hell team. In fact, I think C.J. Stroud was visiting over there recently. Anyway, they're not going to win that game. And then the next game is the Berlin Thunder against us, and we can really take second place in the division. We are certainly not going to get the first. That's the Vienna Vikings. They are the only 10-0 team in the league. But, we should have some playoffs, and we'll have playoff football during preseason football. Preseason with the Carolina Panthers. And then as far as preseason with the Panthers, I'm going to be at the August 17th game. So I don't know if anybody else is going to be there, but we should try and meet on a concourse or something, get a picture, get some C3 Legion together. Anyway, y'all, again, this is John B. Jenkins. Keep pounding Carolina Panthers, keep pounding Panthers Wrocław, and keep pounding C3.
Keep pounding, baby. Shout out to the Wrocław Panthers finally getting in that W column, baby.
Hackbeard, don't leave. Play the next call. Stick around, Hackbeard.
Yo, C3 D.
Deep.
AKA C3D Money. Shout out to my whole family. I won't go and talk, but I was pretty ticked off earlier about that subreddit. I'm very sensitive about my C3 family.
Appreciate
and
you.
It had me in a very bad mindset, but thanks to C3 Cole a brother from another mother. Some wise words from Mr. Shut the Hell Up. Got recentered and refocused.
Yes, sir.
But a lot of the things I read once that came up really bothered me because I'm very overprotective of my C3 family. Very close to this family.
We are
and the
fam.
family means a lot to me. So to these subreddits, first of all, it's not one voice and that's what we run with. We're a very diverse
Thank you.
Thank you.
Football IQ having, master of being a fan, with great takes, great opinions, and that have love for each other. And at least on my end, I try to lead with love.
Yes, sir.
Take these outlandish attacks against my family was very disheartening. But usually I'm the very over-optimistic and smiley face type of guy. Right at this very moment, I ask everybody in the C3 family to please excuse me and forgive me for what's about to be said.
Oh, I love it.
If you have a problem with my C3 family, you can kiss the blackest, darkest part of my ass. No dick. I could give a shit less for your toilet bowl opinion. And it's only jealousy because C3 is still rising through the ashes. The Legion is still marching. And this is Sparta. And everybody's shooting the arrows because they see the light that's coming from C3 with the great Diesel skills, the brand ambassador. You got guys like C3 Cole, G Baby. You got C3 Anthony and JJ, Jake the Snake. Legion of Cats. And then you got like Kristen Butler. You got the Blind Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Oh, the dope.
If anything, we are the most diverse, open-minded, and most entertaining group there is. And I love every single
Let's
one.
go.
He's worthy. Take this.
Pound.
Here.
All right,
Keep pounding, D. That's why we love you, family.
I love this guy first. I loved him for the first time I ever heard him.
Oh, he's incredible.
Another person. This is why we gravitate to D's ill skills. This is why we gravitate from D for authentic. The real. Yeah. This shit ain't fake. All right, Hackbeard. Can you just so I know who you ultimately are, because like you got a Twitter handle? Can you tell me a Gmail or something? If you could comment, it would make it easier. But this is what I'm giving you this. I'm giving you a Stephen Davis autographed photo, 8x10, old school Stephen Davis. Think 2003. I hope you're still sticking around. I'm sure is what a generous gift. And first, we never asked for it, but we always appreciate it. Maybe we do ask for it a little sometimes. But this, you know what? That meant the world. It's a small, you know what? It's a great gift because it's like this. Give it to the community. I want to give it to you. Let me give it to you. Let me give it to you. I want to give it to you. All right. If you don't want it, then I will save it for another person that does the most generous thing ever. It's been sitting here in my drawer. Oh, you want to see this? I got a little drawer of not cool. Do you want to see the greatest thing I have in my whole Panther collection? And this is how I keep it in a plastic bag. Safe and secure. Yeah. Got a couple of these. I got a Ben Wickery. So the greatest Panther possession I own in my life for like a memorabilia is I used to go when Cam Newton was the quarterback. I used to wear a Super Cam cape, homemade Super Cam cape. Now, I've had two of them. This was the very first one. Retired. Made this. You know what I'm saying? You get it printed. Hold on. It's upside down. Homemade. It's a cape. Made a Super Cam cape.
Nice. Nice.
Signed.
There you go.
By my lover. You want to tell? All right. We got to go through the calls. We got to get out of here. It's already 11:26. We still got to do ISO picks. You know what I did is the only way I got this thing signed. My son was 5 years old, maybe. We went to Fan Fest. I told him, I was like, because all the kids are getting all the autographs. It's a fight up there. If a guy, first, I hate to go up there and beg for autographs as a man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Let the kids have it. But I told my son, I said this. He didn't give a shit about any of this. He was 5 years old. I said, bro, if you get Cam Newton to sign this, I'll buy you the $120 Lego set.
Yeah.
Ducked and dipped and crapped and got even cracked. He got Super Cam cake.
That's real motivation right there.
Worth it.
I need a shadow. What do they call it? Shadow box. Yeah, that's what I really need. Because this, I got a Trey Turner signed t-shirt. This is my safe. My Panthers safe of keep it in a plastic bag.
Keep it away from dust.
All right, finish these calls, man.
Yeah, I think that was it. We're done.
We're done?
Done. Yeah.
Well, then let's
get
jump.
Do we even need to talk about? All right, tell us what we need to talk
I mean,
about.
we just had a few more things. Luke Kuechly was the highest graded. So PFF put out a list rather of the highest graded at each single position. Right, Aaron Donald was the best interior defender. Myles Garrett, the best edge defender, and Luke Kuechly, the best score ever for an inside linebacker, baby. Hey, man, shout out to Luke. I mean, I felt this was a fun way just for us to remember how incredibly special this guy was as a linebacker, man. And it breaks my heart to be talking about him in the past tense as a player, man. Still hurts.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts 4 years ago, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, greatest of and this is, you know what, we should, and I don't want to extend the time, but how they have the dynasty scores on, I don't know if they have. Actually, we should let Colby get up here and some of these guys, not right now, but where would he rank where would he rank in all time linebackers? Not a question for tonight, but what would, if you ranked the best linebackers in the history, would he be a 94?
Dude, I'm no historian, but I'm not
one. You know what I'm saying?
He's the top 3 linebacker of all time. I'll say that.
All right, what's next?
Yeah, my man, Cam Newton was had Thomas Davis on his profile, and he basically would go on to say that nobody ever did for the Carolinas what Cam Newton did.
I think he said for any NFL franchise.
Who
or
said
any city,
Davis?
right? He said Cam Newton's never done. Nobody's ever done more as a football player.
Do I need to go back to my love? No, we don't need any more. Thomas Davis.
No, nobody has done more for the organization. Nobody has done more for an organization than Cam Newton has for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, that's saying big.
Thomas Davis on how the city should celebrate him when he retires. Would you like me to play the clip, or you just want to talk about it?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you want me to just gush about my?
I mean, dude, I'm just saying, Thomas Davis put the truth out there. Listen, I know a lot of people go back and forth, like Steve Smith put the Panthers on the map.
No. There's a simple answer to this.
No, I'm saying no one ever did it like Cam Newton did it. And Thomas Davis said that exact same thing.
Yeah, there's a simple answer for this, is that Julius Peppers is the greatest football player to play on the Panthers team. The greatest Panther, arguably, is, and we can debate, is Steve Smith for the longevity of his career. The only and first superstar icon for the Carolina Panthers was Cam Newton. And look, there's a debate that he's the first superstar to North Carolina for professional sports. I guess you could say Alonzo Mourning, you could say Larry Johnson if you go back to that. Cam Newton, and those guys were look, Grandmama. Remember Larry Johnson had the Grandmama commercials. They were dope as fuck.
I have no idea.
Cam Newton, because you were not even born, probably. You were
what the yeah?
But I'm talking about this. Cam is a guy that people that didn't even know about the Panthers would walk around and notice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, superstar. Mm-hmm. He's really the only real
star.
By far the biggest superstar that the Carolina Panthers have ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Like, by far to me. And that's not diminishing anyone else, man, but it's just Cam was it. Cam was it.
This love is so strong. All right.
How about this, man? Shout out to our former number one wide receiver, DJ Moore.
He got another deal.
Has been broken off by the Chicago Bears on a 4-year, $110 million extension that includes $82.6 million and guaranteed. The deal was negotiated by Drew Rosenhaus, Jason Rosenhaus, and Robert Bailey. Moore has now had the first 10 years of his career guaranteed, a first in NFL history for a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Go. God bless. Look, I'm down for it. That's a lot of, you know what? And get Drew Rosenhaus to represent you. Lesson in life. All right. What's next? Is that it?
I believe so.
All right.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah. Oh, don't forget, you can go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com and purchase merchandise. But yeah, I think you only can use PayPal now. How about this? Maybe this. All right. I'll make this part of my ice up. All right. So, but look, go to Carolina Cat Chronicles. You can you can click the gear icon, some stuff. Also, I don't know if anybody saw, did Homeboy put his information in the chat?
No.
He's just like a benefactor.
Dude, he's just the best, man.
Probably Cam Newton back there saying,
dude, that guy's incredible, man.
All right.
Shout out to him.
I'll make it part 2 of my ice up. Let's go. Longest running segment on the longest running Panthers podcast. That's right. We've been doing this every week for 11 years. I'm pretty sure we haven't. I'm pretty strong. We haven't missed a week. We have moved it around a little bit. We've had some subs and things like come in and fill in, but these mugs are grinded. Oh, no, that sounded terrible. If I was going to do karaoke.
We've been doing a little bit of grinding. You know
I gotta get that Pharrell, the clips, grinding. Sounds like Pharrell. All right, I know it's okay. I don't do Panther Gals. Don't worry. Stick around for the ice up, and you'll find out why there's problems with the payment method through Printful. All right, let's go. Longest running segment on the longest running Panthers podcast. Hit them up, Cody.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
This is our homage to Steve Smith, where we tell someone to ice up, toughen up to get it together. Everyone is fair game. We can step in or outside the lines of the football field. We can step up above to the drone overlook. We can ice up a 12-year-old kid in Oklahoma that we've never met, or I've never met, which I have done. I can ice up myself. I've done that before. It's time to ice some fools up. Who you got, Cody?
Yeah, man. So I have 2 of them today. One of them is just hilarious, and one of them is maybe one of the grossest things that you have ever seen in your life.
Oh, great. I love it. I'm ready.
So, yeah, we're going to ice some fools up. Here's the face of a man who told his employees to not stack the shit this high. Trying to lift him, trying to move him.
Oh, he's about to die.
Oh, look, it just lives. It just puts his hand on.
He just put his arm up.
Yeah.
Is that the employee or the boss?
I think that's the boss. Look, watch him. He's like, well, there it goes. Yeah, what was this supposed to do in that scenario, man?
That's true.
Was
He tried to catch it, hurt himself.
that was the guy that what?
That was
stacked
the
up?
boss. That was like the guy that.
Oh, and he's like, here, this is why we don't do this.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't-
hello.
all right.
Yeah. All right, and then, prepare yourselves.
Oh, this is gonna be my favorite.
Oh, dude.
No, I want to see some.
Oh, dude.
I'm gay for Cam, and I love to see people die on the internet.
Well, they're not dying, but well,
They should.
although I don't know, maybe she's in the act of dying. I don't know. Bro, you know it's
This was
bad.
good.
You know it's bad when you have maggots coming out of your coochie.
Oh wow.
Oh no, this is too much.
Oh.
Oh my
That pussy be dying.
You always seem to turn my stomach.
What it is? Are they having sleep sex?
Where is this,
Is that-
California? Yeah, it's Los Angeles. Look at that. I was just making a joke, and look at it. It is Los Angeles. How about that?
Oh, dude, is that not the grossest shit you have? Oh my! Oh no! I'm icing myself up for even playing that. Wow, man, just wow. You know that you're really down bad when Oh, dude, maggots! Come on, bro. Ice up.
Ugh.
Don't go to
God.
California. How about that?
God, that'll make you go something. All right, CK, you got anything?
Listen, I'm just gonna be doing a simple ice up. I'll tell you this: my drone, the wings of my drone are not going to be icing anytime soon. But I'm going to tell the outdated policies when it comes to filming. It's in today's world of content, not putting content out as a team or as a media, being able to do that is a very outdated way of handling things. And so I'm just icing up those policies and the people who believe that that's the best thing for the team right now, that is that's struggling to try to get any type of engagement from their fan base. So I'm icing up the Panthers all together for the, again, I'm happy they were very nice about the approach they had with the drone. They weren't demanding. But I'm icing them up for the policies and the fact that they unfollowed me.
All right, I gotta say this: the real AP who has been bringing the heat in the chat all night, my brother too. That already we've been bonding all night through the chat. He said that's pubic lice. I'm gonna say that's pubic ice up.
Yeah. I don't care what it is.
Pubic lice up.
Do with it.
All right, Greg, you got one for us?
Yeah, I actually have like 5 this week.
Oh,
trying to get out of here. I'm only going to
God.
do 2. I'm going to do 2
Okay.
short ones because
Okay.
they'll hold till next week. First of all, I completely boycotted the Olympics because I don't promote anything that they're pushing right now. This is not my stuff. I actually have an
God.
Olympic clip, but I'm sorry if you're going to have males fighting against female, boxing against females.
Oh,
you're gonna
this
have-
is so jacked.
So hang on, Greg.
Hold
let
on,
me.
This is not the ice up. Okay, what?
Okay, but I do have to add some context that I was made aware of, but it still doesn't really change things. Like apparently that wasn't at the Olympics. Doesn't change things for me. So go ahead.
Oh well, the news article says they are competing in the Olympics this year.
Okay, so
there are two males in the female
all right,
division
all right.
boxing. That and the whole transgender reenactment
Right.
of the Last Supper. I'm not. So I'm boycotting the Olympics, but stuff
Right.
does come across my feed, so I want to show this clip because I can't stop watching it and laughing. So if I
There, you know what? There's never a time that a man can hit a woman except for in the Olympics in the boxing.
Right. So check this guy out diving right here. I don't know if y'all seen this yet or not. He got a 0 score.
Is that good or bad?
Bad. Oh my
It
god!
did a
That hurt.
cannonball. It did a cannonball.
no,
He did a back. What is it? A back flop. Oh,
Yeah.
that shit hurt.
This has to hurt so bad. So I'm icing him up for this because that's your one chance right there, and you just messed it up. And then let's see. I got. I'll stop the screen to pull the other one up.
Man, there's never a time a man can hit a woman except for when they're in the Olympics and
Dude,
fighting. them.
I put out a tweet.
I
on
saw it.
Twitter
I'm not even gonna.
and
deal with
it's
this
like, dude, it's gone too far, man. Like if you're a man,
That dude was pummeling that bitch.
if you're a
Sorry,
man,
that was the most
and you're willing to
way of
let a
saying it.
biological woman
That bitch was
beat
pummeling
up
that
on
bitch.
by another man, you're a fucking coward.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Craig.
It's bullshit.
What's
My-
number
my
two, Greg?
My second one here is Stephen A. Smith, man. I can't stand this guy. He's a racist. He's a misogynist. And I can't stand listening to what he says. And he does an interview with this lady here and just watch the interview. It's absolutely insane. I think I got to share the sound too, because it doesn't work if the sound doesn't work.
I think that's the default that it's sound shared.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
not
the
sure.
sound.
Oh, it does?
the
Okay, so y'all got the sound last one?
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so. I think.
Yeah.
No, we
What?
didn't get sound on the last one.
Play it. Let me see.
No, we
hear that?
can't hear it.
No,
Okay,
I
hold on.
can't
Let me
hear
set up so you can hear it. Tony, do yours, and I'll set it up so you
Okay.
can
Either that, just send it to the Four Horsemen, and I'll play it.
All right. So my number one, we'll start with the serious ISO pick. It's not the serious. I told you stick around. So I have been holding on to CarolinaCatChronicles.com as a legacy thing, right? I don't even post articles that nobody reads anything. I do have an idea about an article, like a website. What if we just posted headlines and we didn't post any? No one clicks on the article. You spend 10 hours writing an article and no one reads it. Everybody just wants to comment. So what if we just had a website that was just headlines only? Comment below, right? That's a good app. So I have been keeping CarolinaCatChronicles.com around because one, I feel like if I stop paying for it, it just feels like putting something to bed. You know what I'm saying? Like I always keep it for a legacy, nostalgic legacy. But it is a way for us to sell the merchandise. There's this cool company, Printful, that has made merchandise. So I used to have to, when we first started this website for Reddit people that want to know how hard we've been grinding, I spent $1,000 on t-shirts in 2014, and it took me 9 years to sell them to make $122 probably at the end. But what Printful does, because now they have these cool machines, print on demand. So if you go on our website now, you buy a t-shirt, they print it, they mail it, they get most of the money, and we get like $4 or something. But that's way easier on me and stuff like this. Somehow, in some way, which I have no idea how this ever could have happened, because Joe Riolano never did. He's not a computer savvy dude. I kept him around because not kept him around. He's my brother. He wasn't the one starting the website up, but somehow, I don't know what it is that Joe Riolano's name is on the Printful, like from Squarespace or not Squarespace. So they go, we need you to verify your credentials. So you got to have you got to put your face up. You got to send them a picture of your license. You got to send them a picture of tax form and this. And they're like, sorry, this isn't Joe Real. I'm like, Joe is not the Joe didn't like, and this has been going on for like 7 months. And I just stopped fucking with it. I was tired of it. Like I've tried to do these credentials and this and that. And now I'm still getting the emails like, we need you to verify. I was like, I've emailed. I'm like, dude, Joe Riolano is like in hospice. You know what I'm saying? They're like, we need a letterhead. I was like, bro, we're a podcast that's got 4,000 followers. We don't got no letterhead. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here showing you my face. I'm showing you Joe Riolano is dead right now. God bless. Rest in peace, Joe. But like now, like what do I can't. So the first ice up goes to, I think it was Panther Gal. Somehow PayPal, I think, is still accepted. But like the card and the this and that, I can't do it until I'm going through too much of my other shit right now to spend 1 billion hours. I was like, I just got to call you guys. I mean, they can't call me. We need letter. I was like, letterhead? Do you want me to just print this shit on Google Docs and make a fake letter? Like, it doesn't even make sense. We're not a company. I filed this through my individual taxes, right? I'm like, and there's no LLC anyway. So that's my first ice up is, not an ice up. That's why we got PayPal. This is I don't know if there's anything that represents my ice up picks more than a video like this. This just makes my heart.
Oh god, I love this one. This is a classic.
Oh, I just saw it the other day, and
I just saw it the other day. Oh, dude,
yeah,
this is like
it's
20 years old now.
Yeah, this is nothing that makes my heart This is the internet
This is
shit
the
that this is like
Let it roll.
This
Let
is
it roll.
porn. This is porn for me.
Ride in the kisser. Show that night who's boss.
That girl's got to be dead, dude. Taking a while into the face like that,
Dude, how did she not break every bone in her
I bet
face?
you she broke something.
She's killed. I would think she was dead. CTE, CTE,
fucking
for sure.
annihilated. I put that on CTE ESPN.
God, I love that shit. I watched that like 900 times. You know what? It's just bookmark that, folks, for having a bad day and be like, my shit's better than that. All right,
Thomas
those
says
are
you
my
might as well
ice
get the grape stomping video of the chick she was on the news. Just
I didn't watch
stomping
it. I didn't
grapes.
watch it, but I was looking through the comments and it was like
Yeah.
worse. And they were like, "Oh, check this one out," and I was like,
Dude, she's stepping
I'm just
on
gonna-
grapes, and then she falls out, and you hear her go, hey, 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 hey. Like, dude, it's the funniest thing that's probably ever happened on live TV.
All right.
But
Let's get this last one and get the
For
hell
my,
out
for my
of here.
last one, don't share
No,
the teammates. I don't want to bring the levity down. He's a racist misogynist. Share the one I showed, the zero fucks one I showed you after that.
Okay, all right,
This one-
good.
I'll end on a funny note.
the second one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the second one.
All right. Let me.
It's a little long, but it's funny. That's like
Do I need to mute it?
No, you need to play the sound or lose all the effect.
Jerry's on his way from home. He stopped by Krispy Kreme's, and now he is in Krispy Kreme heaven. But if you take a look to Jerry's right, there's this jerk trying to ruin that Krispy Kreme
I
heaven.
hate people that can't drive.
Cut in. Jerry not bothered. Jerry not phased. Jerry just chilling, listening to the greatest hits of Kenny G. But with zero
No, that's just ass.
Jerry instant, this guy tries to cut in front of him.
Oh.
It's not phased at all. The driver. Look,
Other guy went over the bridge.
Here tonight.
Oh, my friend, my Ash, that's the scariest thing.
Dude, that's
Ash,
so awesome.
the scariest thing in Ash's life is getting in a fucking car accident on the bridge, I bet. And it's like at the top. It's like a top 5. Steve Inman, I feel like I've known him.
And
from
yes, the real AP, that is the noise I make when I do fall out of my chair. Thankfully,
No
that's
way.
never happened, but
We
that
got
is the
him.
voice I will make if it does.
We got him. He ain't falling out of the chair if this fam is around.
Oh,
If
no.
you're in the when I say this fam, I'm talking about you, the real AP. I'm talking about you, Josh Thomas, Thomas DeFries, Michael Reap, Panther Gal, all the other people that have been listening. 25222. Well, actually, we already done the calls. We ain't doing no more calls. Next week, we'll be here Friday for the Friday free for all. But guess what? Football's gonna be here soon. There's gonna be a post game show.
Love you,
There's
AP.
gonna be film breakdowns. There's gonna be all this. Thank you so much for your support. It's the C3 Panthers podcast. You can see the names across the bottom of the screen. If you don't like it, fucking love it.
Hey, tough titty said the kitty, but the milk's still good. You feel me? Keep pounding.